I'm Christine Lisi. Tonight will mark the return of LeBron James for the Lakers, reports ESPN's Dave McMenamin. James out last night with soreness in his left foot, back against the Knicks to play at Madison Square Garden, one of his favorite arenas for the first time in 3 years. Eagles left guard Landon Dickerson's expected to play in Super Bowl 57 against the Chiefs despite a hyperextended elbow. His availability all the more important to protect quarterback Jalen Hurts from Chiefs defensive line, and one of the best interior D linemen in the game, Chris Jones, notes ESPN's Mina Kimes.
Over the last 2 months, they rank third across the NFL in pressure rate. I think Chris Jones was the best defensive tackle in football this year. I think Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, does a really brilliant job of finding ways to scheme up one-on-ones for him. I expect him to blitz Hurts a lot too. So it won't be easy for Hurts, certainly not as easy as it looked at times against San Francisco.
Ravens quarterback Tyler Huntley's heading to the Pro Bowl as a fourth alternate. He'll replace Buffalo's Josh Allen. Huntley's the first QB since Vince Young in 2006 to make the Pro Bowl after throwing more interceptions 3 than touchdowns 2.
We all know the game isn't over till it's over. So next time you need parts for your car, don't call it quits. Go to eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts to take your car into overtime. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, bank. That's bank. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and we can be seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat today. Well, apparently the Denver Broncos still in the hunt for two big names.
Denver is failing to they're not going to settle.
Apparently
and
not.
I do not understand how we keep circling back to Jim Harbaugh.
Well, I mean, he's the biggest name out there.
Well, I mean, and that seems to be where they're at. I've gotten more questions about Denver because there's been more misinformation out there. Demeco Ryans basically told him today, I'm out. He was their 6th number 1 choice. So you get to a point, if you're Denver, where you have to go, all right, so, Sean, all those things that you wanted 15 minutes ago that we said no, well, maybe we could talk about that and maybe come to some consensus because we're stuck.
Right.
And you're the only one that can bail us out.
Right. It's amazing to me. Part of me really hopes it's Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, that would be that would be the greatest possible story.
Because Nick Saban,
I'm a Michigan man. I love these relationships that I have been. Oh wait, Denver, scratch that. Bye.
Nick Saban, I think we could take that whole "I'm not going to be the head coach of Alabama" thing. I think we could take that off. We could forget about that.
No, that's still going to be there.
I know that Brian Hall will never forget about that as a Dolphins fan. But,
yeah, no, that's still going to be up there. But Jim Harbaugh would.
But this will be correct. I mean, this is what, 4 seasons in a row. If he ends up taking the Denver job, this will be, I'm going back to Michigan. No, I'm going to go to Minnesota. No, I'm going to go back to Michigan. No, I'm going to go to Indianapolis. No, I'm going to go back to Michigan. Like, come on.
This is a perfect jumping off point. If you hit the right button, you do have to hit the right button. It is
Jeremy.
Just that was me this time. It was me. Yeah, and maybe not.
It's time for the opening drive. It's always brought to you by Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Go to 629 Brevard Road. Check them out at the showroom, of course. You can get a certified pre-owned, or you could go brand spanking new like Jeremy's bougie tail.
Yes, I'm in a brand new Murano. It's got the moonroof. It's got all the bells and whistles. Frankly, I'm pretty sure that I could put a Rubik's Cube on the dashboard, and by the time I got where I was going, it would have solved it. Because it has everything you could ever want, and you can find out for yourself by going to 629 Brevard Road. Tell them the two formerly fat guys from the Sportsocracy sent you.
That's right, and when you do, they will give you $250 on top of whatever your trade-in is worth just for mentioning the Sportsocracy. Yes, Denver still in the hunt for a big fish. Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, and honestly, when you have more money than God, you're not going to settle for anything other than that. Like, they're both going to have to basically come out and do State of the Union type addresses and say, no, we're not taking this stinking job before the Denver Broncos will relent on the pursuit of those two guys. Yes, there's already been some chat in the comments of the YouTube channel. I'll get to the Pro Bowl thing. That's going to be my Just a Bit Outside story today.
Yeah, the Pro Bowl just finds more and more ways to go, hey, it's different now, but it's not.
Nobody cares. But nobody cares. Nobody cares. Yeah, we got some roster shifting going on for the Pro Bowl.
Yes, to be a quarterback at the Pro Bowl, you have to be a quarterback in the NFL and clinically alive.
Yes.
End of message. Repeat the line.
We will begin some off-season previews today as well. We'll start with the two top teams in the NFL draft.
The Chicago Bears and
the Houston Texans.
The Houston Texans.
We'll do Senior Bowl check-ins as well, as I know Jeremy's got he's technically got both eyes on the Senior Bowl right now, just looking and going, oh, I love this time of year.
Oh, this is a great time. I will be doing a live stream with Armchair for the Senior Bowl. I obviously
that was fun last year. Yeah,
I will not be in Mobile.
Sadly,
I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. Moving on.
That's right.
We will be doing one of those like we did last year. This is an interesting year for the Senior Bowl because it's the first time in the last 7 years that you do not have a first-round draft pick quarterback in Mobile. But there are a lot of stories. This is an interesting draft class because there's not a lot of high-end talent, but it's really, really, really deep. May also have two players from Shepherd University drafted this year. Let's go.
And where the hell is that?
It's in West Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, they have an offensive lineman and a quarterback that could get drafted this year.
Interesting. All right. We'll get Senior Bowl look-ins throughout the program as well. And, of course, whatever other breaking news might pop up during this. We may have a Demeco Ryans official announcement.
Yeah, Demeco Ryans is going to be the next head coach of the Houston Texans.
Of course.
There is nothing that's changed there. There's no pen to paper. We have shown that, verbal agreements don't mean a lot. Because Vic Fangio might be the replacement to Demeco Ryans, not the new defensive coordinator of the Miami Dolphins.
Really?
Yes, that's a fun thing about verbal agreements. They don't mean squirt. So, there's some interesting news there that we'll get into later in the program.
Wonderful. All right, it's all coming your way over the next 3 hours here on ESPN Asheville. We appreciate you joining us, and bear with me with the voice and the stuffiness. It's been a battle today. All right, let's get into it here. Denver Broncos, they want to go all in. They have to go all in. They've got the new owner. They've got all the Walmart money now, and so
the money doesn't matter. All right, I heard Ian Rappaport say this earlier. Every owner in the NFL is loaded.
Of course.
If this is who you want, you will go get who you want. I don't necessarily think it's a money thing with Sean Payton.
Okay, what do you think it is?
I don't think he likes the roster, and I get it. I mean, he was very sure to say, I'm still in this. I haven't been eliminated. He's still in it in Arizona. I would say you're probably no better than 50-50 right now that Sean Payton takes a job. So let's just say he confirms what I've already heard, that he is telling people behind closed doors he's coming back to Fox. You name me what Denver could do that's going to make you feel warm and fuzzy.
As far
because
as
you
the
have to remember
roster goes?
no, as far as the coach.
Oh.
Because you have to remember how the optics look. Soaring Eagle in our YouTube comments, who is a Denver Bronco fan, said just hire Mike Kafka and finally be done with this. Here's the problem with that. That's exactly what you just did.
Yeah.
You just did that with Nathaniel Hackett. And I don't think that's going to sell well.
Mm-mm.
I feel like Denver is in a position, and I said this from the get-go. Sean Payton was playing A, B, and D. And what do you do when he says no? That's why they were in Ann Arbor just a few days ago trying to rally up Jim Harbaugh. Because that's the only other name out there.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Kafka's not going to do it. That's not going to drive the fan base and make the fans feel better about what they're getting here.
No.
I don't even think that's optimizing what you have in Russell Wilson. But there's not much out there that does. And Denver is the one team that has to go all in. And there is part of me that thinks Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh are almost using each other against each other.
Okay.
There's only two answers to this test that are not incorrect. I'm one, he's the other. I don't think Sean Payton signs on the dotted line for less than $25 million. That is everything I have been told from the jump.
Especially if it's a team that I'm not sold on their roster.
That's double what any coach at the NFL makes.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Payton's not worth that. Period. He's not. Sean Payton and Mike McCarthy are way closer to the same guy than you want to believe. They are historically. I give you a stat.
I know they have the same number of Super Bowls, but
I heard somebody say this over the weekend that Sean Payton is just Mike McCarthy with a way better PR team. I mean, I can't tell you you're wrong. I think Sean Payton is a better coach.
I was going to say, when it comes to offensive mind, does
Okay,
he not
so
have it leaps and bounds over Mike McCarthy?
All right, so I'm going to give you a resume, and you tell me who I'm talking about. He has one Super Bowl. He had many years with a very elite quarterback. Other than that, it's kind of been he never really developed the guy per se. Had a couple good ones. Largely been in the 8 to 10 to 12 range in offensive ranking every single year. Who am I talking about?
Sean Payton.
That's Mike McCarthy.
That's the same guy.
They're the same guy.
They're the same guy.
Look, Sean Payton had there's
How much
this
has Sean
allure.
Payton had outside of Drew Brees?
Not much.
I was
It was
gonna say,
mainly
I
just
thought
the
they-
last year. But I mean, you also had Drew was hurt a few times, and so I was being very liberal with how I said
Well,
that.
of course.
I mean, I don't necessarily think this is the guy that rides in and all of a sudden now you're the favorite in the AFC. That's how Denver's treating this, and I feel like you're doing this wrong. What's that old saying about fans? When you worry about what the fans think, don't worry, you'll be sitting with them soon enough.
Yeah.
I don't think either one of these – I mean, I love Jim Harbaugh. I've said for, 4 years now, if I want to win and I want to win immediately, that's the guy I'm going to go get because I've seen him do it. Sean Payton just feels like an overpriced toy to me. This feels like you've gone shopping on Christmas Eve and your kid wants one specific doll. There's one in the entire city, and guess what? You're going to pay whatever they tell you it's worth.
Yes.
Which means you're probably going to pay 3 times what it's actually worth.
Yes.
That's Sean Payton in a nutshell to me. And Denver has shown we're not happy with any of these guys that have been in the building. If you were, you would have – they have 6 finalists, but nobody knows who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And every report out of Denver is it's not some, hey, look, we found a guy behind door number 5. No, it's the candidates that we've talked about.
Yes, they say it's somebody that you know.
And how exactly am I supposed to sell that? All right, so we went back to Jim Harbaugh. How am I supposed to hire Mike Kafka after that? I've already talked to him. So he obviously didn't impress me enough the first time for me to feel hunky-dunky about it. So I'm going to circle back when everybody else says no.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes you're left with that. That's your only option. See, that's part of the problem with big game hunting. If you miss out on the big game and you return with a couple of squirrels, the family's going to be disappointed when it's time for dinner.
Yes, because squirrel stew is not exactly the 14-point buck you were telling me you were going to bring.
Exactly. You were promising me venison steaks here, and I end up with a little bit of woodland rat. It doesn't make me happy. you're not gonna appease this fan base. It's much like we've talked about with Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, I called him the carnival barker, the ultimate carnival barker. He's always talking about bigger, better, greatest of all time. We're gonna win a title. Well, this is like what the Denver Broncos have done with their head coaching searches. They've told their fan base, we're going to get the best out there. We're going to get Sean Payton. We're going to get Jim Harbaugh. Oh, now it appears that Jim has gone back to Michigan.
For now.
And Sean Payton has apparently settled on going back to TV. Oh, but fast forward a week, and now we're back to the same boat.
And Sean Payton's still talking. Jim Harbaugh still had the sit down in Ann Arbor. And as I've watched this play out, it reminded me of something that I've seen really, really recently. And if you're a Bronco fan, it's probably not going to make you feel warm and fuzzy when I draw this comparison after the break.
You're in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zack with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
Everybody's talking about regenerative medicine now because people who have joint pain are getting real, lasting relief without drugs or surgery. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting treatment. They use highly concentrated healing agents from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. If you have ongoing joint pain from arthritis or injury, call QC Kinetics. Steroids and surgery are not your only option, and regenerative medicine can get you moving again with no downtime. Stop taking the pain meds and discover this remarkable alternative. Thanks to QC Kinetics, this amazing treatment option is now available for everyone tired of joint pain. Don't put this off any longer. Spring is coming and you want to enjoy all life has to offer. Call QC Kinetics now, 828-333-9517. Get a free consultation with local medical professionals. QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517, with locations in Asheville and Greenville. That's 828-333-9517.
Hey everyone, it's me, Rachel Bonetta, host of the Benched with Bonetta podcast. Super Bowl 57 is just around the corner, and we're gearing up to give you tons of fun and exclusive coverage right from the center of the action. Are you interested in hearing about all of the biggest storylines, quotes, and fun moments from the NFL? Then join us throughout the biggest week in football as we broadcast straight from Radio Row in Glendale, Arizona to give you just that. We might even have a special guest or two stop by, so make sure you tune in to Benched with Bonetta on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Let me guess. Unknown caller? You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
We're back in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville. The Denver Broncos, they need a head coach. They're not going to settle for, well, anything less than Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh, but what if they do?
Well, they love to Dan Quinn. He's going back to Cowboys.
Yeah.
They love Demeco Ryans. He's going to the Texans. Yeah. Do you even know who else they've talked to?
I do. I've got the list of finalists in front of me. So after Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh, those are the cream of the crop. Those are the pie in the sky dream candidates. Then you go Raheem Morris.
No, sir.
Jim Caldwell.
It's not as bad as people will make it out to be, but it's still not going to incite the fan base.
It's gross. Look, Jim Caldwell's a good coach. I would love him as an offensive coordinator. I don't know if I'm cool with him as my head coach.
Here would be my argument. Jim Caldwell won 9 games with the Detroit Lions.
Of course he did.
Dan Campbell did the same thing, and we're cutting backflips that he's the greatest culture-setting coach of all time. All right, calm down. Jim Caldwell is probably the best name on this list that's not Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh.
And then it's Ajiro Overo,
who was on your staff the last year. That's going to be a really tough sell.
And
I think he's a great coach.
And then there's one. And then there's one more.
Yeah.
There's one more that I'll look at and go, if you don't get Jim Harbaugh and you don't get Sean Payton, bringing in David Shaw would be an interesting move. Look, the fan base may not be all head over heels about it, but I think he's kind of everything wrapped into one. Because, correct me if I'm wrong here or if I've got the wrong impression. But I look at Sean Payton and I think, all right, he's the offensive mind, the offensive genius that I could bring in to, quote-unquote, fix Russell Wilson. He can run
that's how he's viewed, yes.
Yeah, he can run my passing game. He can make my receivers better. And everything's going to be better offensively speaking with him. Jim Harbaugh, to me, he's the guy that comes in and he immediately commands respect of the locker room, and he's going to have a game plan. He's going to get everybody going. I don't necessarily see him as the quarterback fixer, but maybe it'll just be a better culture in that locker room. Do I have any of that wrong?
No.
Okay. I think David Shaw's both wrapped into one.
I do too. I think that's what
But he's not the name.
I think that's what a smart owner would do. He would look at the two bigger names. Jim Harbaugh comes with a lot of headache because he's going to need damn near full autonomy. And him and George Payton, I'm not so sure how that's going to work out. It hasn't worked with any other personnel guy that he's ever worked with.
Right.
So I could see him wanting his own people. And yes, he's a great coach, but, man, there's a lot of headaches there. Sean Payton, to me, these are the two splashy hires. And I hearken back to something I saw a new owner do, and it wasn't that far from here. And his name is David Tepper. Because when you got rid of Ron Rivera, we had to go big game hunting and get the program builder in Matt Rule. And it was an absolute dumpster fire. So would it be a negative to just go safe? David Shaw's probably the safest hire in the circle. I don't see you doing that until everybody else says no.
Yes.
Because what the Walton family is currently falling into is that same trap that new owners fall into all the time. I've got more money than all but 30 people on this planet. I've been successful in everything I've ever done, and I'm going to throw money at this because I'm smarter than everybody else. So I'm smart enough to get Sean Payton in the room. I'm smart enough to get Jim Harbaugh away from Michigan, and my money is what's going to do it. That almost never works. Matt Rule's not the only Urban Meyer. You remember all the people that went, this is a great, legendary No, it's a train wreck. And we said that on this program from the minute it happened. I'm not so sure Jim Harbaugh wouldn't fall into the same boat. Because you got a lot of really vocal personalities in that room. And I'm not sure Sean Payton's not in the same boat. He's a great name, but if you look at him historically, you take away Drew Brees, and yes, there were years without Drew Brees. He's never finished out in the top 15 of the NFL in points. That's in the non-Drew Brees years. I get that's all but 4 of his years in the NFL.
Right.
That's really dependent on one guy. And I got news for you. Russell Wilson ain't that guy. He's not that guy. He's never been that guy, and he's never going to be that guy. And so would it be the worst thing in the world to just go, hey, David Shaw's got a ton of experience as a head coach. This is a really fractured locker room. We had quarterbacks fighting on the sideline with offensive linemen. Maybe boring's not the worst thing we could do.
Right.
Maybe the mundane hire would not be the worst thing out there. And you look around the division and go, okay, so what is your high side? This is the thing that's always dumbfounded me about, okay, so you're chasing Sean Payton, and I'm not even getting into the draft pick compensation. First of all, if you think any team in the NFL is stupid enough to trade 2 first-round picks for Sean Payton, I got a bridge to sell you. Because you don't understand how capitalism works. You don't bet against yourself. B, head coaches are not worth that. That might have been the price for Carolina because that's in the division.
Right.
If they get one for Sean Payton, I'll be shocked. To me, it's probably more a day 2 and then a mid-round kind of thing. But I look at David Shaw and go, it's not going to win the press conference, but I think it could win games.
Yeah.
He's going to hire a ridiculously good staff. I mean, an insanely good staff. Go down the rabbit hole of how many smart guys in the NFL are tied to David Shaw, because it's a lot.
Really?
A lot. Now, some of them are from his time with Jim Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
So, there is a little overlap there. And I'm not saying Harbaugh and Payton wouldn't hire good staff. I just feel like Denver's at that precipice of you're trying to win a press conference. Why? Why are you so worried about that? Just hire the right guy. And if it's $25 million for Sean Payton or $8 for David Shaw, to me, that's not that hard of a decision. Oh, and by the way, I don't have to give up draft capital that I don't have. This ain't that hard.
But why do you think they're trying to win the press conference?
Because they have a fan base that's look, like I said, I've gotten more questions about this coaching job than the other 4 combined, and we're affiliates of one of the teams that had an opening.
Right.
I get Denver Bronco questions every day because the Nathaniel Hackett thing was an absolute dumpster fire.
Absolutely.
And this is a proud franchise that looks at them. I mean, because I've heard this several times too. We're not the Houston Texans. We don't expect to be hiring a coach for the second time in 2 years. Well, sometimes you have to look at yourself and go, man, it's been a while since Payton was here. It's been a while since old Payton went trotting out that door with his orange number 18 on. And going big game hunting can blow up in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the whole search has been kind of a cluster. Because, how many favorites have we had? How many we've changed where this is heading every day. Now, I haven't. I've said it Sean Payton the entire time. Now, whether he was willing to take the job has changed on a daily basis. But if this blows up, you're going to look like morons. If this goes super sideways and you're 5-12, and I'm telling you right now, there's a good possibility of that, you're going to look like a really dysfunctional franchise. I don't really see any way David Shaw goes 5-12. Am I telling you he's going to win you a Super Bowl? No.
Yeah.
But he won't cost you a ton, and he's a leader of men. Stanford's one of the toughest jobs in all of college football. And if you noticed when he walked away, he didn't say, "I don't think I can't that I can't do this." It's just time for a different voice in the room, and it's time for a different challenge for me. And to me, it's a match made in heaven.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, and it's time. Let's get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Well, the NFL had to shake up the Pro Bowl rosters because of injuries, which is not too out of the ordinary. I mean, we've seen that time and time and time again. Well, this year's Pro Bowl rosters were supposed to include Patrick Mahomes as a starter at quarterback.
But he's in the Super Bowl, so that can't happen.
He is. Backups for Josh Allen and Joe Burrow.
And Josh Allen wants to go play golf, so yeah, he's not going to be there either.
Yeah. The alternates Tua, who's still in the concussion protocol.
So he can't play.
Justin Herbert, who just had shoulder surgery.
So he can't play.
And Lamar Jackson, awesome, who's still dealing with a knee injury.
And he's got a contract issue that will preclude him from doing anything before that's done.
Yeah, ain't no damn shot that he is going to be doing anything extracurricular until a contract gets done in some shape, form, or fashion. So they've had to go to the well and find us some new AFC quarterbacks here for the rosters. So now we have Derek Carr from the Las Vegas Raiders.
That's going to be fun, wearing his Raider helmet, knowing that we're negotiating trades for him at the Senior Bowl right now. More on that later.
I mean, we basically kicked him off the team, kicked him out of the building at the end of the season. But yeah, go represent us in the Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowler. Let's go.
Trevor Lawrence. There you go.
That one I can't hate on that one. I get it. He was not our first choice, but I at least understand why you're here.
And then Tyler Huntley? Mm-hmm. Tyler Huntley, like, what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. Tyler Huntley, who famously fumbled away the playoff game, threw 2 touchdown passes this year and 3 interceptions. Woo! He becomes the first quarterback since 2006 when Vince Young made the Pro Bowl for the Tennessee Titans.
2-time Pro Bowler, by the way.
Yeah, to throw more interceptions than touchdowns in a season. Now, at least for Vince, it was like, 17 touchdowns to 20 interceptions or whatever. I mean, this guy barely even played.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is a joke.
Did that roster spot just belong to the Baltimore Ravens? And they went, okay, Ravens, it's up to you. You got to pick somebody. And they went, that guy.
I have absolutely no idea how this happened.
How did you
Here's my biggest question. Were Davis Mills and Zach Wilson sick? Because legitimately, they both deserve to be in this game more than Tyler Huntley does.
Yes. It makes 0 sense to me. I love Derek Carr's reaction. Was apparently this invite got lost from previous years. But, hey, I'm going to the Pro Bowl. He's like, I realize that I didn't do much to deserve going to the Pro Bowl this year, but here we go, trip number 4.
Yeah, this is officially never tell me how many Pro Bowls a guy made ever again because I don't care.
Yeah, no, Tyler Huntley made a Pro Bowl playing 6 snaps.
So I went when I saw the story this morning, I went back. Do you know in the last 8 years, 7 Pro Bowls in 8 years, because obviously we didn't have the 2020 game. Do you know how many times in those 7 games we've had 10 or more quarterbacks selected to the Pro Bowl?
No.
It's 5.
Wow.
That's a third of the league is making it at quarterback. That's a joke.
Dang.
So don't ever give me, well, he's an 8-time Pro Bowler. Awesome. I got a coupon in my pocket for 20% off a Big Mac because it means about the same amount. My story comes to us from Virginia. It's Churchland High School. We don't talk high school basketball in this show. But when you do something this, I'll say this is egregious because I think it qualifies, then that gets you on the show. The Churchland High School basketball, the JV girls basketball team, they were playing in a club tournament out of town against Naismond River. Well, apparently, they had a lack of players. And they had come all this way. They'd spent the money, so they still wanted to play. Well, they came up with we'll call it an interesting plan to get around that. They put in their 22-year-old assistant coach and told everybody she was a 13-year-old girl. First of all, she's 5 inches taller than everybody on the floor.
Right.
The video is absolutely hilarious. It looks like me playing with a bunch of 8-year-olds. Just, ball goes up and rafters. Let's go. She does that twice in the video. She didn't even try to hide it. It looks like Steph Curry playing a bunch of 14-year-olds. Just dribble drive, nobody can stop me. I thought she was going to dunk at one point.
Nice.
Well, apparently people caught on and went, how did we not see, how did the scouting report not tell us anything? She was impersonating one of the players that couldn't play. Her jersey apparently fit the coach. The coach's name is, I've lost it in the Arlisha Boykins.
They've now changed her name to Banned for Life.
She's been fired. She has been fired, and the entire season has been canceled. The rest of the season's been canceled. And now all of the girls on this team are trying to transfer to other schools.
100% they should.
Because apparently this was conspired between the coach and the assistant.
Uh-huh.
And it's a weird video to watch. Because there's one point where she drives in and hits a layup and gets fouled. And then she does the stereotypical, hey, let's do the knuckles on the way to the free throw line. No girl on the team will even look at her. They all do it, but they're just looking away like, what are we doing right now? That is a bold strategy. Let's put in our coach that's 10 years older than everybody on the floor.
The levels that people will stoop to win a basketball game.
A JV girls high school basketball game.
It's not like this was the state championship or something that like you could like maybe quickly win the game and then go away and nobody ever figured it out.
And you know what the saddest? I don't even want to say this is the saddest part, but it is a sad part of it. They had 5 players, so they could have played with just the 5. They just wouldn't have had a reserve.
Right.
Apparently, she couldn't resist being the 6th person because she didn't start.
No, it's my last chance to be relevant.
Oh, how did that conversation go? Hey, we only have 5 players. I could still ball. You're 22 years old. Nobody will know. I look very youthful. You're 6 inches taller than everybody on the floor. Growth spurt.
Apparently, she did not listen to the program last week when we talked about how bad it was when the 29-year-old woman decided to go back to school and enroll in high school. It doesn't work that way.
She went full, hold my beer and watch this. Because not only am I going back to high school, I'm going to play on the team.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Rain works in from the west tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday. Heaviest rain Thursday, and then some cold numbers appear Friday night and into the weekend with low temps down in the 20s and high temps in the 30s and 40s. Rain for tonight, 39 degrees. Quarter-inch rains Wednesday, Thursday. High temps in the 40s, lows near 40 degrees Wednesday night, and then colder numbers by Friday. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. This winter, there are new COVID-19 booster shots designed to help protect against recent Omicron variants. If it's been at least 2 months since your primary series or original booster, schedule your updated COVID-19 booster dose at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
All the radio stations you love, every playlist to match your mood, the podcasts that everyone's talking about. If it's on the iHeartRadio app, it's free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome to Harvest Farms, where the best organic or natural products are waiting for you, where the fields are filled with flavorful delights, and every bite is backed with the highest quality and attention. This is a place of affordable organic adventure, where freshness reigns supreme, that can only be found at Ingles. Harvest Farms Organics. You'll love what's inside.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man!
It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. You know, I didn't think that the Pro Bowl could reach a lower level. I'm trying to think, like, who's the worst quarterback I've ever seen in the Pro Bowl?
Ryan Tannehill. He made a Pro Bowl.
That's probably close.
I
was going to say, like,
Young is the one that's sticking out to me.
I was going to say, like, Jeff Garcia, but he actually had – at least he had a good season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and Ryan Tannehill had a good season, too. But stop using the Pro Bowl as a benchmark. After that last story, now all I want to do is go crash an 8th grade boys basketball game and just go full Vince Carter.
I don't think they're going to believe it.
I mean, at least
in my mouth. 22-year-old female might be able to be like, okay, she looks a little older, but okay, there are some girls who look older than others. On your account, that's like, why did this guy just roam in off the street and think that he could just – because first off, they don't have jerseys big enough to fit you.
Yeah, why do we have a homeless guy with a heater in his mouth going full Russell Westbrook right now? He has not seen one stoplight all day because he's just going full team gets me.
Oh, yeah. That guy's got warts that are as old as these children.
That's probably the one way I could dunk. Now, the bad thing is I'd only making about 4 trips up and down the court before I'm like, timeout. Woo. We need a timeout, boys. This is way too much running.
You think he can still dunk? I'm going to say no.
It would not be an impressive one, but I think I could do it.
I smell a Sportsocracy sports challenge coming on.
Oh, I absolutely 100% refuse. After seeing Tom Segura break the bone in his upper arm.
Oh, that was awful.
No, I'm good.
I'm not gonna. You're not gonna try.
No, I'm just gonna go with if I could, it would not be overly impressive. I was gonna say, and it would not be by much.
I know some folks at that little school over the hill right there. We could just head right on over to Irwin High School.
You give me a 9-foot rim? You lower that bad boy down? I'll look like Zion Williamson. Let's go.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, first of all, I can grab a 9-foot rim almost from a standing flat.
That's pretty impressive.
I have long arms.
Yeah. Let's say, make it 8 feet. I can even dunk on that.
Now that is actually, I totally want to see that. Because I'm not sure you could dunk on an 8-foot rim.
I totally could.
Sloan Jordan said Jeremy screaming and one and having a domestic light on the bench. 100%. That would totally happen. That's exactly
He's
how
going full Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, no. I would storm in the gym like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Open the door, mullet flowing, no shirt underneath the jersey. Oh, no, we're going tats out. No doubt. And I'm stealing one on the breakaway. First kid gets in my way, just boom! Weight room! No doubt.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That would be hilarious. But no, you could not pass as a 14-year-old. You barely pass as a 34-year-old.
I did tell somebody how old I was the other day, and they went, "My God, what have you done to yourself?" Ugh, that's not a nice response. I mean, I feel like I look 35.
It's a whole lot of hair and a whole lot of hard living.
Oh, yeah. At this point, insurance companies just look at me and go, no.
All right, so as we prepare for the Super Bowl coming up, obviously we'll have all of your ins and outs and game coverage over the next 2 weeks here, but it's time to start looking at the offseason for some teams. So starting out with the team that's got the number 1 pick for our offseason previews.
Well, look, the Chicago Bears may be this sounds weird to say, as out as I am on Justin Fields, they have a ton of money. It's right at $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like they got a ton of guys that you're planning on bringing back. So you can do a lot with that. The thing I've been stuck on with Chicago, how much better do you think the weapons are going to get? That's always the argument. Because invariably, anytime I say Justin Fields' name, 200 comments appear, and they almost all end with idiot. So how much better do you think it's going to get? All right, first of all, can you even tell me who the best weapon on the market is? Let's say the number one guy goes, I have always wanted to be a Chicago Bear. Do you even know who that is?
The number one wide receiver on the market?
I'll even go weapon.
Well, Saquon.
Okay, how much better is Saquon Barkley right now than David Montgomery? He's better, but it's not. I mean, we're not talking Barry Sanders to current day Ezekiel Elliott. All right, this is not a huge discrepancy.
Okay.
I've always said you underrate how good that backfield is. And then you get into weapons. Dalton Schultz. He a huge upgrade over Cole Kmet? No. At wide receiver, it's Odell Beckham Jr., who, first of all, will not even answer your phone calls. No shot.
No. Juju.
Who's a slot receiver. You already have two of those.
Mm-hmm.
Jacoby Myers. I mean, is anything here really going, yeah, that's a vaunted offense?
DJ Shark.
Woo. I mean, this is a lot like my dating history before I met Amy. It's a whole lot of threes.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot of major talent.
Evan Ingram, that's something I could totally see Chicago doing. Here, take $60 million over 4 years from us.
Well, I mean,
you go to Chicago and die.
With the Justin Fields style, you have to run 12 personnel, right? So
2 tight ends.
Yeah. So you got Cole Kmet and Evan Ingram on every play.
I mean, I'm not 100% sure what it is you think you're going to put around this guy that's going to make you a contender.
I mean, I would obviously focus on the offensive line above anything else.
All right, so now you're talking Orlando Brown.
Yeah.
Who, do you realize how badly you would have to overpay him to get him to leave Kansas City?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have to be your left tackle because that's a huge hang-up with him.
Yes.
I mean, is he that great in the first place?
He's really good. Is he a all-pro? No.
Mike McGlinchey, the guy who just got annihilated.
I'm tapped out after his playoff performances.
I mean, but that's what's out there. And everybody wants to talk about how much money the Bears have and, they can turn all this around. This free agent class is awful. The highest-end guys on the market will never come close. And Lamar Jackson will not spend 1 second in the free agent pool. I promise you.
Right.
He will get the exclusive the exclusive franchise tag. And if they decide to trade him, so be it. But we're all in on Justin Fields. Okay. Jeremy Munoz in the comments said trades. Okay. What exactly do you think you're giving up? You don't have anything. You traded the first pick in the second round for Chase Claypool, which, by the way, every evaluator I know openly laughed at.
Mm-hmm.
The day you did it, it was a joke.
Mm-hmm.
But you did that, so now you're committed to it. This GM did it. You can't tap out on that now. You gave up what is basically an extra first-round pick for Chase Claypool. He's your 2 at worst. So all right, trade. Who exactly do you think you think Minnesota's coming off Justin Jefferson? Because that's what you would need. You're not getting a guy like that. That's the reason that I've been so steadfast of if you do not do this the way I'm telling you to do it, we will look back on you and mock you.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember, this is a team that took Mitch Trubisky over Deshaun Watson and Pat Mahomes.
If there was a way to get a survey out to all the players in the league and to find out who wants to play with Justin Fields,
receivers will invariably say no.
Absolutely, and that's what I'm thinking. Like, at least you can go get a quarterback that people are going to want to play with, or that big stars are going to want to play with.
Well, and that's why my idea has long been, you call Atlanta, you say, look, I got Justin Fields, I want the 8th pick. because I want Quentin Johnston, the kid out of TCU.
Right.
And I'll pair him with Bryce Young. Munoz said totally different front office. No, it's not. You did it 6 months ago. This was middle of the year. This is Ryan Poles that did all of this. He's committed to Cole Kmet because you're not going to do better than that. The line actually graded reasonably well. I mean, it's not. I'm not sitting here telling you it's the Eagles or the Chiefs. Most of that money is going to go into fixing your defense. That's where it has to go because that defense is bad. So you allocate all that money, and then what do you have? You have a really poor man's version of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean super poor. What exactly do you think that's going to yield you? See, that's where I always go with, if we're doing a full reset, this is a tear down to the studs. What is my highest side? All right, I'm already through 2 years of Justin Fields. I know definitively after this year, I'm going to have to make a decision. Do I kick in the option? Of which, if you keep him, the answer is yes. Then he becomes $25 million in year 5. You're 3-14 with him on a rookie deal. What do you think he's going to be then? So you reset the rookie clock. I don't really care how you feel about Justin Fields compared to Bryce Young. Oh, he's too little. He's an exponentially better thrower of the football. It's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
Not even close. Let's say you fell in love with C.J. Stroud or Will Levis. I don't care. You're resetting the clock. Look at Philadelphia. Is Jalen Hurts an elite quarterback? No. We just talked about this yesterday. Is that roster elite?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because when you have a $2 million quarterback, you can build a really good roster around it. And that gives you more opportunity to succeed. Now, the trading back from one, let me make this as clear as I can. The haul's not going to be what you think it is. I've heard people talking about getting 3 ones from Indy and Michael Pittman. You will not come close to that.
No.
Because all of those reservations you have about Bryce Young, other teams have those too. So I'm not telling you he's a perfect prospect. What I'm saying is that if you pass on him and he becomes elite, you're going to look dumb. That's Elemento fired. I had the shot at Bryce Young, and I traded down to 4 with Indy. I got 4. You're 1 next year, which if he's that good, it's going to be in the middle of the first round anyway. I mean, yes, it helps you build, but you're not lacking for assets. You have a ton of money. You have the number 1 pick in this draft anyway. I'm not seeing how – right now I'm looking at Chicago like this is the 500-piece puzzle. And you've dumped it all out on the table, and you got the corners done. But you don't even know what the picture is. So now you're just trying to fit pieces together in the blind hope that what? Hey, you think you're just going to randomly assemble this?
Jackass in the YouTube comment says, but if you have Bryce Young throwing 50 times a game with that bad of a team at his size, he'll die from the sacks.
He also protects himself better than any quarterback I've ever seen.
I was going to say, where do you think you're going with Justin Fields?
I mean, Justin Fields is missing time anyway.
Right.
And that line is not that bad.
Right.
And you wouldn't be throwing 50 times anyway. That's a high side Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady level. The path here is you take this raw clay, which is what you have with the running backs. You have a couple high flyer weapons in Claypool and Mooney. I'm not telling you they're great, but you're, for lack of a better term, you're committed.
Mm-hmm.
And then you restart the rookie clock. And you trot Bryce Young out there much like the Giants did with Daniel Jones. I'm not comparing them as prospects because they don't compare that way. But you put the system together. You trust Luke Getsy, who's going to be a head coach in this league one day. You trust him to build the offense. And you have a much higher high side that way. You can have all the money in the world. If nobody wants to take it, it doesn't really matter. And there are no receivers out there. And high-level receivers are not going to want to play with Justin Fields. Defensive players. Did you see what just happened with the best defense in the league, the 49ers, when they didn't have a quarterback? They looked around and the effort level went into the tank. It's because they knew that there's no high side here. We're not winning this game because they are a well-oiled machine and we can't throw a ball 10 yards down the field. There's a lot that goes into that. This is not a slide on Justin Fields. You just did it too early. You did it to yourself, and I said it the night you drafted him. And now it's bearing itself out.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and it's ESPN Asheville. When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Hey, Dak Prescott here. Why do I choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because better sleep elevates my game. Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed helps me fall asleep faster, keeps me cool, and effortlessly adjusts for my best sleep. That's more focus, more edge, and more highlights. And that means more wins for all of us.
It's our ultimate Sleep Number event. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, plus special financing. Ends Monday. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Rain works in from the west tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday. Heaviest rain Thursday, and then some cold numbers appear Friday night and into the weekend with low temps down in the 20s and high temps in the 30s and 40s. Rain for tonight, 39 degrees. Quarter-inch rains Wednesday, Thursday. High temps in the 40s, lows near 40 degrees Wednesday night, and then colder numbers by Friday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing is committed to quality and printing perfect every time. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more. Offer ends $225. See staples.com/store/printbig for details. Try Staples and see the difference.
Hey, Dak Prescott here. Why do I choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because better sleep elevates my game. Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed helps me fall asleep faster, keeps me cool, and effortlessly adjusts for my best sleep. That's more focus, more edge, and more highlights. And that means more wins for all of us.
It's our ultimate Sleep Number event. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, plus special financing. Ends Monday. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
When temperatures drop, COVID-19 cases may rise. So if you test positive and are at high risk, act fast. Even if your symptoms feel mild, ask your provider if an authorized oral treatment could be right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com, sponsored by Pfizer.
Two NBA insiders podcasting twice a week to plug you right into the NBA grapevine.
All happening in only one place. This League Uncut, the new NBA podcast with me, Chris Haynes,
and me, Mark Stein.
Join us as we team up to expound on everything we're covering, hearing, and chasing.
Listen to This League Uncut with Chris Haynes and Mark Stein
on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Christine Lisi, as his pursuit of the NBA scoring record continues, LeBron James will return from foot soreness for the Lakers tonight against the Knicks, reports ESPN's Dave McMenamin. He'll be playing in one of his favorite arenas, Madison Square Garden, for the first time in 3 years. And tonight, we'll see the LeBron that's averaging over 30 points a game this season, believes ESPN's Tim Legler.
You're not going to see, I don't think, limitations in him. He's the kind of guy now at this point, if he's not going to go out there and be himself, he's probably going to not play until the next game. So I think the fact that you're seeing him play, and I think also the significance of playing in the Garden, he's going to suit up, and I think you're going to see the same LeBron that we've been watching here all season, which is really nothing short of remarkable.
Tim Legler on Fitz, and Harry James is 117 points away from passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's career scoring record. Michigan State quarterback Kari Crump sentenced to probation as part of a plea agreement today for his involvement in an assault on a Michigan player in the stadium tunnel on October 29th. Crump was sentenced to 12 months probation and 80 hours community service in that plea deal.
We all know the game isn't over till it's over. So next time your car breaks down, don't call it quits. Head to eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts to take your car into overtime. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Money. That's money. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400 in the Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and we are seen everywhere on YouTube. All you got to do is just go to the sportsocracy.com, click the live video link in the middle of the screen, go on to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. You can also join the House of Reprehensibles while you're there. $2.99 fee. Just show your appreciation for the Sportsocracy here. Join the House of Reprehensibles. Get that little beer mug next to your name in the chat each and every day. And, of course, after you subscribe to the channel, you'll get the live alerts. So, like, you know, things like this past weekend when we did the live reactions to both the championship games. That was fun. We'll have another one of those coming up this weekend as David Smith of Armchair Commentary and, of course, Flosterdamus, our Senior Bowl nerd, will be covering the Senior Bowl live, talking about all of the prospects that you're seeing on your screen. It was a whole lot of fun last year, and I'll be honest with you, I barely watch Senior Bowls, period. Watching last year with the commentary from Armchair and Flosterdamus, it made it much more appealing to me. So I encourage everybody to do that because that was a fun thing last year, and I'm glad you're doing it again this year. We're all sad that you did not get to go to the Senior Bowl. You're not bitter, we know.
A little salty,
but things happen. And we're glad that you're in studio with us to cover it from afar, which we'll be getting into more Senior Bowl stuff later on in the program. Our daily draft today is going to be players to watch at the Senior Bowl.
Now there are some fun stories, which is it'll be a nice little teaser of if you want a reason to watch it. Just a few of the little tidbits that I have about a few players that are playing in Mobile, but we have breaking news.
I love breaking news.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
I apologize to the YouTube viewers. My dance is not as exciting today because I'm sick. So
I was not disappointed. This is from Mike Garafolo and was retweeted by Ian Rappaport. The San Francisco 49ers have requested permission to speak to Steve Wilks for their defensive coordinator job.
There you go.
Wilks is still under a contract with the Panthers, and that should raise a question where you go, oh wait, they don't have an open defensive coordinator job yet, or do they? Demeco Ryans is taking the Houston job. All right, this is the worst kept secret in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen a team request to interview someone for a job that's not actually vacant yet. That might be a first.
Well, they're just getting ahead of it. They know it's coming. They know it's coming,
Oh,
so
no
it
doubt.
doesn't matter.
And that's the right hire. That's the one we told you the day after the season. Houston, you don't have a lot of options here. This is the one.
And I think this will be a great move for San Francisco, too. I mean,
that's
Steve Wilks is a hell of a defensive coordinator.
So funny story about Steve Wilks. I'm not averse to him being the defensive coordinator out there. I also don't think he's going to be. Because Mr. Vic Fangio never put his old John Hancock on an offer from the Miami Dolphins.
Ah.
And there is a report that is who they are targeting.
Okay. All right.
That would be schematically, that would make more sense. Steve Wilks is going to change some things, and that's what San Francisco doesn't really do. We play within the confines of this system. You saw it with Robert Saleh. You saw it with Demeco Ryans. Offensively, we play within the confines of this Kyle Shanahan offense, and people keep getting promoted, and they go to new jobs, and, well, it doesn't always seem to go so well.
Kevin Vick says Carolina should pull a New Orleans and say, sure, you can have him. We'll take CMC back.
Yeah, that's
there's not a chance.
Yeah, that would officially be where San Francisco went. JK, just kidding.
Just kidding. We're
good.
Steve Wilks. We're good. Promise you.
And this is due diligence. I don't think Steve Wilks will get this job. He did not get the Falcons job either. That's where I thought he was headed.
Mm-hmm.
But they I can't remember who they hired. Somebody with a link to Arthur Smith. Who's shocked?
Nobody is shocked by that. Who did they hire?
I can't remember the guy's name. It slipped right out of my head.
I was trying to look. I've got the list pulled up here. Ryan Nielsen.
Oh, yeah, because they had that really lame tweet of, our Nielsen rating just went up. Oh, good Lord.
He was the co-defensive coordinator and the defensive line coach for the Saints this past season.
Yeah, it's fine.
So
it's fine.
Awesome. I love that you went through Ejiro Evero, Vic Fangio, Brian Flores, Ryan Nielsen.
Yeah.
Tell me you're the Atlanta Falcons without telling me you're the Atlanta Falcons.
I actually think I don't think Atlanta's in a terrible shape.
Yeah.
I think I believe way too much in Arthur Smith, but
I think you might. But it's not terrible.
I'm also I'm dead convinced that Atlanta's going to wind up with a quarterback of some kind.
Your belief in Arthur Smith is much more believable than the belief that you had in Davis Mills being the possible future of the Houston Texans at quarterback.
Davis Mills is a serviceable NFL quarterback. That is all I ever said. I never said he was going to be a Pro Bowler. I just said he was the best option you had until you didn't.
Well, look, the Houston Texans, I think it's a foregone conclusion that they are going to get Demeco Ryans. He's going to return to where he played. He will be the head coach after a great career or early career here as the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. The question is now, what do they do moving forward? We all know it's got to be a quarterback, right? You're picking it too. You got to take one of these quarterbacks.
And I mean, and there is a possibility that Chicago just hijacks you. I mean, let's say they don't move on from Justin Fields, which I'm not telling you that's what they're going to do. I'm telling you it's what they should do.
Mm-hmm.
There is a huge difference in what old Flostro here tells you and what NFL teams do.
I think the more likely scenario for Chicago is to trade back. They'll not take a quarterback. They'll stay with Justin Fields just because it is that hot button of an issue.
You'd have to have a wheelbarrow to put your in.
I think that's what they're doing. I really do. And in 2 years, we'll be doing this whole thing all over again, where everybody in the front office for Chicago gets fired, and they're chasing again. But that's up to them. That's their decision.
That's your call.
I
Your
think
career.
that's what they're going to do. Right. I just feel like
I have a lot of career longevity sitting here going, I told you so.
Yeah, again, Ryan Poles, I mean, we all thought it was going to be a great move that he comes in, and then, the deals that he's made so far, not sending anybody.
See, that's what scares me about Houston, is I've watched Nick Caserio now for 2 years put together a roster that looks like an expansion team. Now, where I will say nice things, other than your second first-round pick last year, you drafted really nicely. Derek Stingley was pretty good. Jalen Petrie was really good. And Damian Pierce is a dog. So, you hit three. 3 starters in a draft that's pretty good.
That is good.
You have nice draft capital this year with 2 and 12. The one thing I will say, you should really resist the urge to trade 2 and 12 to Chicago to get up to 1.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
This is where one of the things that will be the most interesting to me as we play this out, what if Houston just goes, nope, we'll sit right here. And Indianapolis says, nope, we'll sit right here, because none of them are so dead sold on quarterbacks that you've got to be really sold on a guy to trade up.
Yes.
Jared Goff. I mean, everybody talks about that being a landmark bad deal for the Lions, or for the Rams, excuse me. He got you to a Super Bowl. Yes, you gave up a lot of draft capital, but he got you to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think a guy is that to make a move. So if Houston and Indianapolis and Carolina all just go, we're going to sit right here. And I can tell you, there's we'll say a little birdie told me, Carolina thinks Sam Darnold's better than all but one quarterback in this draft class.
Wow.
And if that's the case, then that's another bidder that's out.
Yep.
So, I mean, we killed Houston. You got the one win that didn't mean squat, and now you're picking it too. I mean, you may still have your pick of all the quarterbacks anyway, because there's a possibility that Chicago's going to be stuck at 1.
Mm-hmm. And if Chicago gets stuck at 1, they stay with Justin Fields. They take Will Anderson. That's the Khalil Mack replacement kind of thing.
See, and I think that's part of why I'm so dead set on the move for Fields. If you get stuck at 1, you should take Bryce Young. And there's a belief that Will Anderson's a generational pass rusher. Not by himself, he's not. If it's him and what do we have on the other side, Bill? A former XFL starter. Oh, great. Yeah, let's double team Will Anderson. We'll be just fine. And so this is one of those times that I'm not 100% sure that the team at 1 actually controls all of this. This is a weird class.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're Houston, is it worth the draft capital? Is there a big enough difference to you between C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young? Body concerns for Bryce Young, tape concerns with C.J. Stroud. Or do you just sit there and go, your call. You want to do it? Do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sit here at 2. I'm going to have my pick at 12. If you allow Quentin Johnston to follow me at 12, I'm going to take him there and give an immediate weapon to whoever I take it to. That would be my tact if I'm Houston. And I'm all in on Bryce Young. I've said I think he's a franchise quarterback. That's ultimately who I would love to come out of this with.
Mm-hmm.
If I come out of it with C.J. Stroud, I mean, do I think the franchise is just in tatters?
No.
And which would I rather have? C.J. Stroud at 2 and whoever I could get at 12, or just Bryce Young? That's where it quickly becomes, I'll take the former, not the latter.
Absolutely. I'm not giving you my capital this year. All of it. I mean, obviously we can go 2-1, and I can give you another 2 or something.
See, I don't even want to do that.
A couple of 2s to come back up.
And this is where you have to look at this gets three-dimensional chessy, but you have to look at what teams do well. The Houston Texans right now, this front office structure as it sits, it has only done one thing correctly. They got a king's ransom for Deshaun Watson, but that's a one-off. You don't have another player like that. I mean, Laramie Tunsil, that's it.
Yeah, nobody's giving you any great capital for him.
I don't 100% agree with what you just said.
Really?
I think a team would, but I don't want to. He is the elite player I have on this team. He is a blindside protector for whoever I put at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I want him here. Yeah, he's $35 million against the cap this year because we kicked this can down the road and now we're here. Well, it's not like anybody's rushing out to take our money in the first place. Yeah, we got $35 million in cap space. It doesn't really matter because you're not getting players with any kind of option. Now, you could go raid San Francisco, get some players that know Demeco Ryan's system, start implementing the defense. You're not going to be great next year regardless. All right, Jacksonville has, I think, taken a stranglehold on this division. Tennessee and Indianapolis are both good franchises.
Tennessee will still have something to say about that.
Definitely. I'm curious who your quarterback will be.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're Houston, you're taking a 5,000-foot view of, all right, I got to get the quarterback this year. I need to hit 2 more home runs in the draft, whether that's at 12, whether that's in the second round, wherever I do it. I need to come out of this with 3 starters. Then I will have got basically a third of my roster in 2 drafts. Because what Houston is currently doing well is drafting. The Rex Burkhead signings are not moving any needle. So take what you do well and lean into that. That's how bad franchises flip the script.
Mm-hmm.
Where a lot of these don't pan out is when you start trying to do things that you don't do well. And I'll go back to what I said about Chicago. Chicago's never been good at signing free agents. I mean, from the top down, it's been that way for 40 years. So you have $100 million. Well, whoop-de-doo, you're going to pay 130% for whoever you sign.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're Houston, steer into what you do well, kill the draft, and don't expect it to change a lot in the win column for a year.
You got to beef up the offensive line. You got to get some receivers in there. You have so many holes as Houston. I'm not giving anything up. Because to me, the difference is not great. Again, I've said this time and time again. I'm not the quarterback evaluator. I can't tell you about hip turn and all throwing off the back foot and all that kind of stuff. I don't do that. I just see what I see. And when I look at these 2 quarterbacks, I go, I like Bryce Young. He's better than C.J. Stroud, but I don't think it's leaps and bounds.
We have to take a quick break. We have breaking news, and this is a big old biggin.
You're in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
No delays on the interstates. Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Traffic is moving well and steady. Smoky Park Highway northbound approaching Sand Hill Road. Traffic slowing. Patton Avenue, no delays. New Leicester Highway, no problems. Biltmore Avenue moving well. Meadow Road, no backups. Amboy Road moving well. Hendersonville Road, delay-free. Sweeten Creek Road, no problems. Checking the drive time from downtown Asheville to Asheville Regional Airport via 240 westbound and 26 eastbound. Drive time 18 minutes. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Hiring is hard. Luckily, there's Indeed. The hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates from the same place. Just sponsor a job. You'll immediately get a short list of quality candidates on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit to get started.
Hey everyone, it's me, Rachel Bonetta, host of the Benched with Bonetta podcast. Super Bowl 57 is just around the corner, and we're gearing up to give you tons of fun and exclusive coverage right from the center of the action. Are you interested in hearing about all of the biggest storylines, quotes, and fun moments from the NFL? Then join us throughout the biggest week in football as we broadcast straight from Radio Row in Glendale, Arizona to give you just that. We might even have a special guest or 2 stop by, so make sure you tune in to Benched with Bonetta on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Asheville. The ultimate battle. March 17th and 18th, the Egg Center. Here they come. 3D monster trucks. Starring Lone Wolf, Battling Boss Gator, and more. Tickets now at MonsterTNT.com or buy at Allen's Jewelry and Pawn for free pit passes.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to ESPNAVL.com.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using Refill by Scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you, with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Fill your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. See pharmacists for restrictions and exclusions.
Make 2023 the year that you change your life and you win that battle with your weight problem. It can happen for you. I mean, I've said this time and time again in my life. I'm going to do better this year. I'm going to lose the weight. 2022, that was the year for me. The PhD weight loss program helped me lose more than 90 pounds last year. PhD's the way to go.
Many people in the new year say, new year, new me. The only problem is that they use a lot of the same tendencies, which leads to new year, same you. Sometimes you need a little help, and that's what PhD gives you. They give you plenty of the food. They give you all the direction, all the guidance. If it works for a guy like me that was as lazy with my food choices as I was, it will work for you. PhD weight loss.
I lived all of my adult life around the 300-pound mark, and now I'm down around 200 pounds, and I feel infinitely better, as you can imagine. Go to myphdweightloss.com today. It's myphdweightloss.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
And it's time for breaking news.
The Denver Broncos have their guy. Sean Payton has officially been traded to the Denver Broncos.
So it's officially official.
It is officially official.
Wow. So what's the compensation?
I'm going to let you guess at that. What do you think it is?
Okay, to get Sean Payton, the Broncos are sending the New Orleans Saints a first-round pick next year.
No.
A second-round pick.
When?
This year.
No.
Next year.
And then?
A third-round pick this year.
No.
Fourth.
No.
Next year.
This year's first-round pick. They gave up this year's one, which is 30? 29?
And
it was San Francisco's. And next year's second-round pick for Payton and the Saints' 2024 third-round pick. That seems like a lot to give up for a coach that you're about to have to pay a bajillion dollars.
It does, but depending on the results, could be worth it, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
so walk me through that. Walk me through how this is worth it. And I'm not telling you you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Just you tell me how this is worth it.
If it brings you a Super Bowl. And
okay, how does that happen?
Any of the next 6 years or however long you're going to sign him for, then it'll end up being worth it.
Well, you're committed to Russell Wilson until 3 days after the apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to win it with Russell Wilson.
Yep.
I will say this is probably the coach that would get the most out of him.
Mm-hmm.
But what does that look like? Does that make you better than the Chargers?
No. Does it mean you can't beat them, though? No.
I don't see the path.
It does.
By the way, this explains the Vic Fangio thing. This is why Vic Fangio didn't sign with. I will go ahead and walk you through, and nobody has told me this, but I've been talking to Sports Freak Brian Hall all day about Vic Fangio going, something's up, and I can't figure out what it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. Sean Payton changed his mind. I don't know if they came to agreement on the money. I don't know what it is. I do find it funny that the money has not come out yet to what I have seen. Something changed. And when Fangio verbally agreed to the Dolphins, Sean Payton called him and said, do not sign that contract. Do not sign that contract.
Because he wants him in Denver?
That's been the tandem the whole time. Now, I will say Fangio is the former coach in Denver.
Right.
That's a weird fit, but it's not completely unheard of.
For a failed head coach to come back as a DC?
It's not completely unheard of. If that's who Sean Payton wants, that's who he will get.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're going all in. If Sean Payton says, y'all had the right guy in the building, he's just not the one to make to call the shots, which we all knew after a year.
Well, I mean, Sean Payton's calling the shots.
Anyway. I know, but
you gave up a first and a second for a coach. He's calling every shot.
Oh, of course, but that's what I'm saying about he. You know, this is Sean talking about Vic. Like, you guys had him. He was the head coach, though. He shouldn't be in that role. He can smooth that over.
That will be. That'll be curious because I've heard the entire time that's exactly who he wants.
So maybe that's true. Maybe that is the way that went down. But I mean, like I said, if at any point he can get you a Super Bowl, which you feel like you're there. You feel like you've got the coach, you've got a quarterback. Yes, he sucked this year, but we blame a lot of that on Nathaniel Hackett. Russell Wilson didn't just find the Space Jam football. It's not like he lost all his talent in a year going from Seattle to Denver. He just went to a system or a scheme that he didn't fit, didn't work right with, didn't have any rapport with.
Okay, does the Sean Payton hiring get Denver to where you thought they would be this year? Do you think they immediately go 10-7, 11-6? They're really high-level competitive in the AFC.
No, but it's close.
All right, so
I'd say 9-8 first year out, and you build on that.
And to me, this is a win now. This is a win now, and now if you're Denver, you are gutted draft capital-wise. So, I mean, you're all in. Mm-hmm. There is no telling what they will do now.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be shocked if they start going big game hunting with taking on bad contracts. Mm-hmm. Michael Thomas. Oh, excuse me. Yep. Sorry. Yeah, it's the first name that came to my mind.
Absolutely.
Don't be shocked if that's where they go.
Figure out a way to make it work.
And I get it. Do I love this fit? No, I don't. I don't love giving up first and second round pick for a coach. I don't. I think Sean Payton is a very good coach. You know, I said earlier that he's Mike McCarthy with a better PR team. That was okay. I was probably being a little headline grabby there. He's a good coach. If anybody can get it out of Russell Wilson, it's him.
Do you remember the last time we saw first-round picks given up for a head coach?
It happened with Gruden.
Yes.
It happened with Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm. But the last time it happened was 2002 when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sent 2 first-round draft picks and I think 2 twos as well to the Las Vegas or to the Los Angeles or whatever, wherever the hell they were, Oakland Raiders, to get John Gruden, and immediately they won a Super Bowl.
They had a roster though. That defense was really, really good.
So was Denver's.
It's not that good.
Well, no.
That Tampa Bay defense was historic.
Of course.
And I'm just looking at it going, this is getting the most of what you have right now. I understand it. The thing that scares me is this screams David Tepper to me of I have to make a splash because our first year as the ownership group couldn't have gone any worse if we tried. If we'd have set the stadium on fire, you did. It couldn't have actually gone worse than it did.
Right.
And so now we have to overreact and go get Sean Payton and give up this ridiculous amount of draft capital. I mean, think about this. They will have given up 3 first-round picks and more for Sean Payton and Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Are they better than the third-best team in their own division?
No.
So that's where I run into a problem of, okay, I've watched teams give up this much draft capital. Maybe it's just me being the draft guy because it's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. You basically gave up the equivalent of any first-round pick in the last 20 years for a coach and a mediocre quarterback. That is scary. Gage Camplin with a super chat here that's
I'm your huckleberry.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what this is.
Mm-hmm.
There is no other team in the NFL that was doing this. I will be curious to see what the compensation is. I'm not going to lie. I don't care. But if he wants $25 million, he got $25 million.
Yes.
If that story that I've been reporting for weeks is true, then that's where we're at. And I don't care. I'm looking at the AFC now going, man, this is a bad news story for the New York Jets. This is a bad news story for the Miami Dolphins, the Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns, because now you've got another contender in the AFC. Mm-hmm. You got another team that you got to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
This is a horrible time to be god-awful in the AFC. Sorry, Houston. We were talking about you right before we did this. So,
yeah, they didn't have much hope anyway.
T's and P's. No wonder you – by the way, the deal is done with Demeco Ryan's 6-year deal.
There you go.
It's the way you get him.
Yeah, you give him a lot of leeway. You give him a lot of trust and let him build a culture. Hopefully Nick Caserio will be gone soon.
All right, so this just broke. We got to sort this out to a little extreme. Where does this put Denver in the AFC? All right, best team in the AFC going into next year, and this is before the offseason, before all the things. Just 5,000-foot view.
Kansas City.
All right, so Kansas City is your one.
I would say so.
All right, so I'm going to go down the list. You tell me where Denver falls in. And this is just off this previous year because I don't really think any of these teams are going to take a step back. Is Denver now better than the Buffalo Bills?
No.
Are they better than the Cincinnati Bengals?
No.
Are they better than the Jacksonville Jaguars? That's my line. I think they are Jacksonville. They have a better coach. Jacksonville has a better quarterback. Jacksonville's roster is young. Yours is more talented. And you're going to have to really fill in holes. But you can be better than Jacksonville.
Yes.
I don't think you can be better than the first three I just said. You're going to need a copious amount of luck.
Mm-hmm.
Are they better than the Chargers?
That's close.
I don't think it's close.
They are.
I don't think it's close.
I don't think they
are.
But
when I say close, I mean there's no one move that Denver's going to make. They can't add. I'm trying to think of a piece here. They can't add Mike Gesicki, and all of a sudden I go, nope, they're better.
You look at the rosters on paper. It's the Chargers, and I'm not sure it's really close, as you say. But then you factor in, well, you got to actually do it on the field. You got to have a coach to lead you there. The trust factor would be in the Denver camp rather than the Los Angeles camp for me, because you still have Brandon Staley.
Well, I mean, and Frankie, and we're going to stay here through this. This is a big story.
Weird.
We'll do weird things tomorrow. Frankie Cleary asked in the YouTube comments, if Denver flops with Wilson and Sean Payton, how are they viewed? Everybody in the building's fired.
Yeah.
I mean, because Sean Payton's not going to be the fall guy. He is now the safest coach in NFL history.
Yes.
Because he owns this franchise, and he's coming in with an arranged marriage with the GM. There's some – if something goes awry this year, they'll gut that front office for what Sean Payton wants.
Yes. If it's not George Payton – George Payton's the guy. Well, remember when he came over from Minnesota?
Oh, and we thought that was going to be the guy that revolutionized the team.
Yeah, we were just glowing. Oh, this is a hammer hire. This is awesome. George Payton's going to turn this thing all around. And it has not gone well.
No, because his biggest commitment financially is Russell Wilson. And between Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, if this doesn't work out,
I am never going to financially recover from this.
I mean, the Waltons are going to start building more Walmarts if this doesn't go appropriately.
Right. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and you had to go get Sean Payton.
Why is it that now that I've heard this and now that it's on paper, I don't hate it as much as I did before?
What? Getting Sean Payton?
It wasn't that I hated it in the first place. It was just, okay, so where does this put you? And now that I'm looking at the AFC, does that make them better than Baltimore? Because I think it does. Does it make them better than the Dolphins?
Yeah.
Steelers, Patriots, definitively yes on both of those.
100%. Not even close.
So now, I mean, and maybe I don't know if I just didn't think about it or if seeing it in print changed the way I look at it. I would say Denver's probably the fifth best team in the AFC now.
Maybe. I would say somewhere in that neighborhood.
I will be curious.
5 to 7.
I would be curious to see what the Jets do at quarterback. Cleveland is one that you have to remember. Curious what the Raiders do at quarterback. Do you realize how good the AFC is now? Mm-hmm. There's one bad team in this whole conference. The Texans may not win a game except when they play the NFC. And I love Demeco Ryans, and I don't care. The second worst team in this conference is the Indianapolis Colts, and that roster is good in most places.
Yep.
Outside of quarterback.
We got another. Actually, let's take a quick break. We'll take the break. When we come back from the break, we'll continue with the super chats and all of the reaction here. Big news today in the NFL: Sean Payton will be the next head coach of the Denver Broncos.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Rain works in from the west tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday. Heaviest rain Thursday, and then some cold numbers appear Friday night and into the weekend with low temps down in the 20s and high temps in the 30s and 40s. Rain for tonight, 39 degrees. Quarter-inch rains Wednesday, Thursday. High temps in the 40s, lows near 40 degrees Wednesday night, and then colder numbers by Friday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time-saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Interstates are moving well. Captain Jeff Bourne Bridge, no problem. Smoky Park Highway back up free. Patton Avenue delay free. New Leicester Highway, no incidents. On the Charlotte Highway, no problems. Swannanoa River Road moving well. Hendersonville Road, no delays. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road. A few light slowdowns. Checking the drive time from West Asheville to Biltmore Village via Meadow Road. Drive time 12 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. Try Wendy's Homestyle French Toast Sticks today. Wendy's Homestyle French Toast Sticks are so good. Some are saying they're better than their mom's French toast. Perfectly crispy on the outside, perfectly fluffy on the inside, perfectly perfect in every way. Try Wendy's Homestyle French Toast Sticks today and see if they're better than your mom's.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
No one has the same taste as you.
You damn right.
From the music you love to the podcasts you can't live without, and only the iHeartRadio app has it all for free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumping a bag of hammers.
Back here in the Sportsocracy, boy, it feels like a little bit of a different world than it did an hour ago.
It does, and I like I said in the last segment, I'm not sure if it's just me seeing it in print or me really deep diving it. But now that it's a thing, I'm looking at Denver in a completely different way.
As you should. Once you have a head coach like Sean Payton committed to taking over a franchise that they have a whole lot of talent. I mean, there's no doubt about that. You got Javonte Williams coming back from injury this year, and so you've got the running game taken care of. The offensive line, I mean, they're not the greatest in the world, but they're not bad. You can make a tweak or two.
You've got to work on that line.
Yeah, you can make a tweak or two.
That line needs a lot of help.
The defense has studs, and they need pieces as well, but getting Sean Payton just in the building, it takes you to a whole different level. We talked this past offseason about the arms race in the AFC, how the Heat just got cranked up with all of the moves that were happening. Now, we expected Russell Wilson being added to the Denver Broncos was going to make a huge difference. Well, it didn't. You had a
No, he was
terrible
awful,
coach.
and it was a historically bad offense.
Yeah, you had a terrible coach. The offense was putrid. You had, players going down to injury, and that's nothing new for Denver, but hopefully they can get a little better luck on the injury front next year and not be missing so many receivers throughout the season. Who knows? Sean Payton may call up the Saints and say, hey, you don't want Michael Thomas on the books anymore, do you? Can we bring him over to Denver somehow? You never know what can be in store when Sean Payton gets into the building. With the knowledge that he has and the success at winning, we had a super chat here from Gage Camplin.
I'm your huckleberry.
He says Payton has a 64% winning percentage.
I mean, he's a fantastic. He's a very. I shouldn't say fantastic because I don't think he's a fantastic. I think he's a very good coach. I think he's a very high level offensive mind. I want to see what the staff looks like. From at least according to the agent of Vic Fangio, he is going to the Miami Dolphins. I'll believe it when I see your name on paper and they go, we have officially hired Vic Fangio.
64% winning percentage, Denver gets the wild card. And I'm not sure. I mean, I think at this point you got to look at it and go, yeah, if you don't get the wild card, I mean, it's a failed season. Because you are no doubt one of the 7 best teams in the AFC.
You're one of the 7
paper.
most talented franchises from the top down, Sean Payton down.
Mm-hmm.
Now the question is, what can you fill around it? Because you don't have a ton of money. You don't have a lot of ways to really add a lot of money. But this is an all-in move.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have to be better than the Miami Dolphins. We have to be better than the New York Jets. We have to be better than the New England Patriots. I don't think it's we have to win the division.
No.
We have to get into the tournament. And when we get there, I have a play caller that is Andy Reid level good. And with Russell Wilson, he will get the most out of him. You've got weapons. You've drafted, I'll say, reasonably well. But now I really want to know who's taking over that defense. Because the defense, I don't know that Sean Payton's ever had a defense as good as he's going to have in Denver. New Orleans was good, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Pat Surtain's the top 6 in this league corner.
Yeah. Marshawn Lattimore, he had in New Orleans.
Yes, he's good, especially against very big receivers, but then you get into little shifty guys, and that becomes a bit of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say Pat Surtain's better right now than Marshawn Lattimore's ever been.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it's by a tremendous amount, but then you look at Justin Simmons and all these other pieces they have on this defense. I can't tell you it's a definitive. I can make the argument that this will be the best defense he's ever had. It's also going to be, without a doubt, the toughest division he's ever been in.
That is an understatement.
This might be the toughest division in the history of football.
Because I don't know that there's anything Denver can do to be better than Kansas City. Los Angeles, again, like I said in the last segment, to me, it's the trust factor has to go with Sean Payton in Denver because we've seen the Chargers do it too many times. Either just miss out on the playoffs or get into the playoffs and lose. I'm not saying Denver's going to immediately go straight into, AFC championship game next year, but I would feel much better about them to do it than Los Angeles. And poor old Las Vegas is just sitting back going, yeah, well, we're poor and we're 4th place, and this is where we're going to stay. And congratulations, Jarrett Stidham is going to be our starting quarterback next year.
B. Malik in our YouTube comments said odds Brady or Rodgers go to the Raiders now has been basically cut to 0.
Absolutely.
Rodgers, I'll agree with that. Brady, I'm not so sure. Brady's a competitive guy.
Yeah, but does he really want to go get his keister kicked for another year?
Well, here's the difference between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. One has options and one doesn't. Now, I got news for you. The New York Jets are not looking at Tom Brady.
No.
Neither are the Tennessee Titans or basically it's the Raiders. End of message, repeat the line. That might be the only team that calls. And it wouldn't shock me in the least if it was.
Mm-hmm.
Same tenet as Sean Payton to Denver. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
And so I'll just say this. Hey, Tom, if that's the only team that calls, it's a sign from God. You need to stay home.
Just be done.
Retire, move on. The last year didn't go your way, but if you do this for another year, then we're going to have a real problem.
But even then, all right, so let's just for argument's sake, let's say the Brady to the Raiders thing is real.
Mm-hmm.
You would be talking about a division that would have Josh McDaniels with Tom Brady,
mm-hmm.
Sean Payton with Russell Wilson,
mm-hmm.
Kellen Moore with Justin Herbert, and Andy Reid with Pat Mahomes. Even with 46-year-old Tom Brady, that's the best division in the history of football. That's the best offensive division ever. Hands down.
Sure. And even in that scenario, the Las Vegas Raiders are a distant 4th.
I don't know that I agree with that.
After what you saw from Tom this year, he can lead a top 10 offense.
He cannot turn the ball over. He cannot turn the ball over, and he knows that system backwards and forwards. And I'm looking at this going, the AFC just became an absolute murderer's row.
I felt like it already was.
It was, and it just got more because I thought Denver was dead in the water.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were going to end up either with Jim Harbaugh. I mean, I've said it was Sean Payton the whole time. That's A, B, and D. There are no backup plans. So Demeco Ryans, yeah, we brought him in. That's great. He's going to Houston. We actually had a super chat.
I'm your huckleberry.
From our guy, Armchair Commentary, that'll be doing the Senior Bowl with me on Saturday, that said, did Lovie Smith get the ultimate screw job, or is he just a bad coach? 6 years for Ryan seems like a lot for Houston. That's the only way Houston was selling this job. Because if you're the Houston Texans, you have to be looking around going, the next closest team to us is the Indianapolis Colts.
Mm-hmm.
And they add a quarterback, that team could be good. There could be the most talented 5-12 team in NFL history come out of the AFC next year.
I mean, do you think the Houston Texans looked at what the Denver Broncos, or excuse me, not Denver Broncos, the Detroit Lions did with Dan Campbell and his staff, and went, that's what we need to do?
Yes.
I do too.
I feel like there are certain teams in the AFC that now have to look around and go, our window just got a lot tighter because you added another gun aimed right at this window on the other side. Because now Denver is terrifying. Kansas City's been to 5 AFC championship games in a row. Justin Herbert has an offensive coordinator now, which he's never had in his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I hear is Lamar's not getting out of Baltimore, so they're going to make that work one way or the other, and they plan on adding weapons. And you just go down the line. No matter what team you say in this conference, this is as good as they've been in a long time, or they have been historically good.
Yeah.
And now I will tell you this as definitively as I can. Aaron Rodgers will be the next quarterback of the New York Jets. You mark my words that I said it.
Really?
What else are you going to do?
I get it.
You're looking at this many good teams in the AFC, and you're going to give me Jimmy Garoppolo? Get out of here. No, this is Aaron. You keep saying weird stuff on the Pat McAfee show, and you come get this green, big boy. You come get this green jersey. You come get these green backs, because I'm going to let's go.
It couldn't be more.
I can't wait. Can we just start season right now? We don't need it. We don't need the NBA. Let's just lather up and do it again.
Let's go. Let's just fire it up.
Yeah,
Give it 2
everybody
weeks.
take a few months off. We'll do the draft. We'll have free agency. We'll have all that stuff. We'll just lather up and have another season. Let's go.
To Armchair's question, though, about Lovie Smith.
He was
it was an ultimate screw job necessarily.
No, he was a stopgap guy, and I would wager they probably told him that. You're going to have to do something special because you're the one that's here to rehab the franchise, and that's what you did, and get Demeco Ryans to take this job.
You're here. Like, to me, it's just you're here. I mean, that's what they did with David Culley. Like, he was the one that would take the job. When that didn't go well, they immediately fired him. And Lovie Smith was the only option for them to go, okay, well, we need some respect. We need a name in the building. We need a little stability. And so they went and got Lovie. And now Demeco wants the job. And if Demeco didn't want the job, Lovie might be the coach again next year.
I mean, I feel like they just looked around and went, that makes too much sense for us to not do it. And I'll tell you, there's another layer of this that I didn't think about until just now. I feel like New Orleans is hitting a very hard reset for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And they could be an attractive job in a year. The answer to the question on Lovie Smith, I almost feel like New Orleans is doing the exact same thing right now with Dennis Allen. We couldn't figure out why they didn't fire him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because you knew somebody was going to come calling for Sean Payton. If you were drawing a hard line, if you're giving us a 1 and a 2, it does a lot to bump start a rebuild.
To set up the next guy.
I mean, because that team's in cap death.
Armchair followed it up. He said, Lovie always ends up taking the garbage jobs, no offense. He knew that he wasn't coming back 100%, but he never gets the real shot. Lovie's not that guy. Lovie was that guy earlier in his career. When he got the job with Chicago, that was a job that was like, hey, we've got this we've got this exciting defensive mind that we're going to give the job to, and we're going to build something on that. Lovie's not that guy anymore. After we've seen him fail, not only with the Chicago Bears, but with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as well, he now becomes the stopgap guy. then that's all he is. You're not going to build up all of this draft capital and get your war chest all beefed up and then go, Lovie Smith's going to take us into the future. No.
And that ties into two things I wanted to hit in the comments. One,
I'm your huckleberry.
Gage Campbell said, as an Eagles fan, so thankful to be in the NFC. And then Deja Dennis, I hope I said your name right. Please let me know in the comments because I hate mispronouncing people's names. Said he's talking about the Texans. We had the most undesirable job with O'Brien decimating our roster, Watson holding us hostage and no draft capital. Now with Watson gone and 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years, we're looking pretty good. That's kind of that's kind of my next thought here as I'm just processing through this. If you had to rank every team in how good the roster looks 2 years from now, do you realize every team in the AFC would be in the top 20? I would say every team in the AFC is in the top 20.
Yeah.
And outside of Philadelphia, San Francisco, Dallas, and Detroit, there may not be another NFC team in the top 20. This is going to be as much fun as anything we've ever seen in sports.
Yeah, I agree.
There is not a layup game in the AFC. And going to what Deja said in the YouTube comments, it's not like Houston's going to be a layup either. They're not going to be a whole lot of fun to play because they got so much draft capital. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have all these young guys. You got Demeco Ryans that's a fantastic defensive mind. Everybody that's ever been around him seems to believe in him. Can we just break the AFC off? Like, do we even have to deal with the NFC anymore? We had the merger in 1970. Can we unmerge and just have the AFC play each other for 18 weeks? Oh, this is going to be fun. And I didn't even realize it. This is going to be fun.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. When we come back from the break, it'll be time for Jeremy's Bangers of the Night, your basketball picks in college and the NBA. Then, after the SportsCenter update, it'll be daily draft time as we'll continue today's coverage. The big breaking news, Sean Payton now going to Denver.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Interstates are moving well on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, no problems. Smoky Park Highway incident-free. Patton Avenue, no delays. New Leicester Highway moving well. Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road, traffic is slow. On the Charlotte Highway, no backups. Hendersonville Road moving well. Sweeten Creek Road, no problems. Checking the drive time from Swannanoa to Asheville. Via 40 westbound and 240 westbound, drive time 16 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by First Restoration Services of Asheville.
First Restoration Services has been responding 24/7 to property damage from water, fire, and storm damage since 1987. If you have a disaster on your property, there's only one company to call first. First Restoration Services of Asheville, FRS247.com.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
It's the final days to save big store-wide at the Truckload event at Lowe's. Right now, get deals on select major appliances and take home what you buy same day. And save an additional 10% on all in-store clearance appliances. Plus, get savings on even more items across the store, like up to 40% off select bathroom products. Hurry and head to your local Lowe's store or visit Lowes.com to shop the Truckload event today. Exclusions apply. While supplies last, selection varies by location. See Lowes.com for details. Valid 1/26 through 2/8.
Hey, Dak Prescott here. Why do I choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because better sleep elevates my game. Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed helps me fall asleep faster, keeps me cool, and effortlessly adjusts for my best sleep. That's more focus, more edge, and more highlights. And that means more wins for all of us.
It's our ultimate Sleep Number event. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, plus special financing. Ends Monday. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Coffee store closes on. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Last night was a great night for picks, right? Those were all layups. 1-4. Wow. Iowa State's up 23 and found a way to lose in overtime.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
That's as bad a beat as you'll ever see, but can't let it beat us twice. This is Green on Green, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. Several good matchups in college, one in the NBA. First, Kansas State's an 8.5-point dog at Kansas. This is a rematch of an overtime classic that we just saw a few weeks ago. Kansas got into intense foul trouble. Could not hit the broadside of a barn from three, and it allowed the Wildcats to beat them in Manhattan. This one will be much more cozy in the confines of Allen Fieldhouse, where the Jayhawks are 10-1 this year. Obviously, Kansas is much better at home. Kansas State isn't great on the road, just 3-3 in true road games on the season. I'm taking Rock Chalk Jayhawk to get the victory, but this number has moved too much. 8.5 for a top 10 team is too much with a volatile Kansas team that's allowed a lot of games to stay closer than they should have. K-State covers the 8.5, but Kansas wins. Next, Wake Forest is an 8.5-point dog at Duke. Over-unders 146. These two played earlier this year, and neither team could hit water off a bridge. That game ended 81-70. 151 total, which is over the number in play tonight. Duke is a drastically different team at home, and Wake Forest actually shoots better on the road than they do at home. I think this is a high score and back and forth, and the Devils ultimately win. But I will take the sexiest coach in America, Steve Forbes. Seriously, Google it. And the Wake Forest Demon Deacons plus the 8.5 and aggressively over the 146. And finally, in the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers are a 1.5-point favorite at the New York Knicks. No Mitchell Robinson tonight for the Knicks means everything that returning Anthony Davis and LeBron James want, they should be able to get down low because the Knicks have no real interior presence. Now, that being said, this is still not a very good Lakers team. They're playing better, but they just aren't that great, and they seem to allow games to stay closer than they should. I'm taking the Lakers plus the 8.5. I'll back them outright, but I promise you this game is going to be closer than it should be. I'll go under the 232. Neither of these teams is great offensively, and they're both incredibly inconsistent. For more, follow us on all the social medias at the Sportsocracy. And as always, Green on Green is brought to you by Ingles Markets. Love the savings with Ingles. Love the winnings with me. Mullen out.
Go and do likewise, gents. The money's out there. You pick it up, it's yours. You don't, I got no sympathy for you.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Rain works in from the west tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday. Heaviest rain Thursday, and then some cold numbers appear Friday night and into the weekend with low temps down in the 20s and high temps in the 30s and 40s. Rain for tonight, 39 degrees. Quarter-inch rains Wednesday, Thursday. High temps in the 40s, lows near 40 degrees Wednesday night, and then colder numbers by Friday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Interstates are moving well on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, no problems. Smoky Park Highway incident-free. Patton Avenue, no delays. New Leicester Highway moving well. Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road, traffic is slow. On the Charlotte Highway, no backups. Hendersonville Road moving well. Sweeten Creek Road, no problems. Checking the drive time from Swannanoa to Asheville.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Save big store-wide at the Truckload event at Lowe's happening now. For a limited time, get deals on select tools and accessories. Shop the event in-store or online today. Valid 1/26/28 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
SportsCenter. I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, Sean Payton has made his decision. He will become the next head coach of the Broncos, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter. New Orleans and Denver agreeing on compensation regarding the Super Bowl winning coach. The Broncos sending their 2023 first-round pick and 2024 second-round pick to the Saints for Payton and New Orleans' 2024 third-rounder. Payton should be warmly welcomed by quarterback Russell Wilson, especially after his disastrous first season in Denver, notes ESPN's Ryan Clark.
Sometimes you need the game to humble you, and it will do that. And so now Sean Payton can come in, or should be able to come in, and coach Russell Wilson extremely hard. Russell Wilson should accept that. And if he does, I believe this can be a marriage that works offensively for the Denver Broncos.
Ryan Clark on NFL Live. The Texans have filled their head coaching vacancy as well. Schefter also reports they've agreed to hire 49ers defensive coordinator Demeco Ryans as their new coach. NBA, ESPN's Dave McMenamin reporting LeBron James back for the Lakers tonight against the Knicks. He was out last night with foot soreness. LeBron 117 points away from becoming the NBA's all-time scoring leader.
If you want to find quality new hires in the new year, post on Indeed. When you sponsor a post, you'll get matched instantly with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Grand. That's grand. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville in the Ingles Studio.
And we thought we were going to talk about the Senior Bowl and just, an off-season Tuesday, and then Denver went not so fast, my friend.
Not so fast. The big news of the day, the Denver Broncos hiring Sean Payton to be their next head coach. This is the Sportsocracy. We are here on 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400, and heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. You can also see us on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. Get your thoughts in there on today's daily draft question. We always do the daily draft at the top of the third hour here, and we were going to talk about the Senior Bowl, but now
I guess we'll do that tomorrow.
Yes, but now that Sean Payton has been hired by the Denver Broncos, they've reached the deal, then now that brings in a different SB, the Super Bowl, because that feels like it's much more in reach for the Denver Broncos than it ever was going to be with Nathaniel Hackett running the show or Vic Fangio or whoever. See, that's the thing for me with Denver is this is the best coach you've had since, Mike Shanahan.
That's probably accurate.
I mean, because the last guy to take him to a Super Bowl was John Fox.
Yeah, and he doesn't really move the needle for me.
No, he doesn't. So best chances to win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years. Jeremy will be drafting the teams back and forth.
Stephen Tao did point out in the comments we spent the first hour saying they shouldn't hire Payton. I don't love that they gave up a first, second-round pick.
I never said they shouldn't.
I did. I did.
I never said they shouldn't.
And then for whatever reason, I saw it on paper and went, okay. I mean, you're much more competitive now But that spawned our daily draft topic of today. Over the next 5 years, not obviously including the Super Bowl that's taking place in 2 weeks, the next 5 years, if there was a futures market somewhere that you could bet on teams that will win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years. So you look at the front office structure, ownership, head coach, quarterback, because those are the things that really don't shift as much. Who are you putting your money on?
Well,
you have the first pick. So
okay. I'll take the easy one, I guess. It's the Kansas City Chiefs.
And to me, that's not the easy one.
Oh, come on.
That's not the easy one.
The Kansas City Chiefs rule the AFC, and that's not going to change. We saw that this past season where everybody flipped out. Oh, my God, they got rid of Tyreek Hill, and now it's all just going to go downhill. No, it's not. We can go out and get just a ragtag group of receivers, and as Patrick Mahomes proved in the AFC Championship game, I didn't even need those guys. I can make Marcus Kemp look like a legitimate receiver in this league. Now, can I do that for a whole season? Maybe not. But is there any doubt in your mind or any thought in your mind that Kansas City is not going to replace all of these guys with guys who could do just as good a job with Patrick Mahomes next year?
The AFC just got very daunting. Pat Mahomes' cap hit jumps $11 million next year. And then it jumps it kind of buoys. It actually goes down the following year and then goes up the year after that. I think it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. This is a team that's been to 5 AFC championship games in a row. This will be the third Super Bowl in 4 years. I couldn't have taken them one. Should they be taken? No doubt. You got the best quarterback in the league. To me, Joe Burrow is a very close second.
I was going to say there are two other teams that I could have taken number one here, but they got to get past Kansas City to get there.
And now I'm nitpicking, but my first pick would be Cincinnati. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't want to take a team in the AFC. As I went down the roster of the NFC, I went, oh, you're in danger. Because the best team in the NFC might be the 12th best team in the NFL. I have a funny feeling you're going to see that bear out in 2 weeks, but we'll get to that. That's not really the topic of the day. You're 2 years ahead of the number with Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is the greatest value in the NFL. And now I'm looking directly at Cincinnati and my next pick, which is the Los Angeles Chargers, because you have the two elite quarterbacks that are $40 million cheaper than all the rest of them, which means I'm in that. So think about what Kansas City added after they figured out what they had in Pat Mahomes. Looking at Joe Tooney, Justin Reed, who they added last year, not been great, but just for example, Orlando Brown, all of the pieces that they added, Frank Clark, that's where Cincinnati and the LA Chargers are now, and they're already pretty good. Cincinnati now has to look around and go, okay, that window is the window where we have an advantage, where our elite quarterback is so much cheaper than yours, is the next 2 years. Then it becomes tough, and we're in the same boat that Kansas City's in. I'm not saying that I doubt Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. I will also say Andy Reid is he's an older gent.
Yes.
He's 64 years old, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's probably not a young 64.
Do you think there's anything short of major medical issues for him to have to step aside?
There has been a rumor matriculating around for the last 3 weeks that Andy Reid may not be long. He may not be long. And I can't confirm that. I don't know Andy Reid. But it's weird that I've heard that from a lot of places.
Yeah.
And I think that's what scares me. That's the reason I wouldn't have taken Kansas City 1, because a lot of this is dependent on Andy Reid. Well, he's 64. Zach Taylor's 4 or 5 years older than I am. In Cincinnati, I'm locked and loaded for the long haul.
Yes.
And I got a lot of guys like Trey Hendrickson, Joseph Asai, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, these guys are all really, really, really young.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only going to get better because I'm going to retool because now I'm looking at the AFC. The AFC, we said this last year, and, well, weird. It's exponentially more so now. The AFC is an arms race.
Mm-hmm.
You will see a lot of high-level talent moving teams into the AFC.
Yeah. All right, so your first pick was Cincinnati, and then you went with the Chargers after that.
And the Chargers, I'm not sure that their window is not that 2-year window as well, because I don't think you're going to keep Kellen Moore for long.
Yeah,
this offense is going to be even more dynamic next year than it was last year.
And think about how much money they've spent. How much money they spent to get all of the free agents that they collected over this past offseason, bringing in Khalil Mack and bringing in J.C. Jackson. And, okay, so now they're at the point where they have to start paying Justin Herbert big-time money here in a year or two. And you're not going to be able to keep that talent around. You're going to have to rely on Tom Telesco to draft you a team, which he can do.
I was about to say he's done a pretty good job of it.
Look, I love Tom Telesco. I think he's a hell of an executive in this league. I just don't know. I mean, the Chargers obviously would be on my short list, and I probably would have taken them had you not taken them. But I just don't know. You know, I tried to be Mr. Chargers and this is the year they're going to get it done and Brandon Staley's going to take the turn. Well, he didn't.
No, but now you've brought in the offensive mind. Now you can steer into what you are.
And I'll
frankly,
give him credit for that.
And just be really frank with this. The defense was not great this year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's going to improve next year. I thought it would improve this year. But you add all of the moving pieces together and just go, that's a really talented roster that's drafted really, really well.
Yep.
And I think you've got that 2-year window.
All right. My second pick for the daily draft today, who's got a best shot in the next 5 years at winning a Super Bowl. I'll take the one that you didn't. You left me an elite team in the AFC, and I'm going to take them, even though history tells us they're not going to get it done.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
That's right. It's the Buffalo Bills. I mean, you got Josh Allen, you got Stephon Diggs, you got a lot of pieces on that team that you like. There's just always something. There's always something that you can't get past the hump on. And, I don't know what it comes down to. That's my problem with Buffalo, is I don't know what that missing piece is. Is it a coach? Hell, I said after they lost the playoff game that maybe they need to go all in to get Sean Payton because the coach may be the thing because I don't know what else it is. Is it the secondary? Do you have to go all in and find some pieces in the secondary?
I'm going to say something that's going to sound a little strange because I've been Mr. Bill.
Beating that drum.
For the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
The Buffalo Bills weren't in my top 10.
Really?
They were not in my top 10.
That is very surprising to me.
There's a very simple reason why.
Okay.
They're in the same boat as Kansas City. They've done a lot of the same things, and it is not like it's going to get better. I feel like Buffalo's missed their window because now Josh Allen's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, you've got Stephon Diggs. Really think about, okay, so name me the player that they've drafted in the last 2 years that you go, yeah, that's the guy that shows me they can do what Kansas City just did.
Mm-hmm.
They can do what the Chargers did with Rashawn Slater, who a bunch of morons like me were saying he's a guard. Well, no, he's one of the best left tackles in the league. So the 3 teams that we took ahead of them, Cincinnati, the Chargers, and Kansas City, they all 3 draft better than Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
That's the lifeblood of a team that's paid a quarterback.
Right.
I wasn't picking Buffalo.
Hmm.
In the 10 picks of this draft, I wasn't taking Buffalo.
Okay.
I mean, and I get why you're saying it because you have, as long as you've got an elite quarterback, you've got a shot.
I got a hell of a window for 2 years.
I mean, Josh Allen's $40 million this year.
Mm-hmm.
They have 9 guys that make over $10 million. I mean, yeah, the cap went up, but they're also $20 million over the cap, and there are serious holes on that roster.
Mm-hmm.
That offensive line got decimated by Cincinnati, and I look at Cincinnati and go, you're going to get better. I look at Buffalo and go, I don't know how you're going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
You don't draft well enough. You're picking at the back of the 20s anyway, so you're not getting that crack at the at the really most special players in drafts. So you have to be really good at this. They haven't shown to do that. And so that makes me nervous when you get to this point. And Buffalo, you should be really glad that I'm jumping off your bandwagon because I've obviously been nothing more than an add to your curse.
Yeah, the Flostradamus kiss of death. It is real.
And I will say, I am dumbfounded that as tough as the AFC is, we started this with 4 AFC teams.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and tell you that I'm probably not going to continue that trend.
You're not going to continue that trend. Well, I'm not going to continue that trend either. When we come back from the break, our first NFC team will come off the board. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Patton Avenue southbound approaching New Leicester Highway, slowing. Smoky Park Highway, no delays. Hendersonville Road moving well. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Airport Road, no incidents reported. Check of the drive time from Mills River to Hendersonville via NC 191 southbound, drive time 15 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. Need bucks? With Jackson Hewitt, don't wait weeks for the IRS to send your tax refund. Come in today for up to $3,500 with a no-interest, no-fee refund advance loan when you file your taxes at Jackson Hewitt. For eligible clients, loans by Republic Bank and Trust Company. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver," unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. We'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that, and that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
What teams in the NFL have the best shot to win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years? That's the subject of today's daily draft after the huge news that, well, I know Demeco Ryans, you picked a wrong day. You picked the wrong day to take the Houston Texans job.
Well, I mean, that was we've all known that for so long that it was almost like, hey, they announced Sean Payton. Just throw it out there. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll schedule the press conference tomorrow. He's already here. Like, it's fine. Everybody knows.
Sean Payton's taking the job with the Denver Broncos. The Broncos giving up draft capital, a 1 this year, so the 30th overall pick this year goes to the New Orleans Saints, and a 2 next year goes to the Saints from the Denver Broncos. And Sean Payton will probably get $1 bajillion. We still have not seen any salary information, but we know it's going to be big.
$100 billion.
It is. This could be a 5 years, 110.
I think it starts at 5 years, $100 million.
That's what I think.
I mean, it starts there.
I think that's.
It might be 5 years, $125 million.
Right. So Sean Payton going to the Denver Broncos, immediately changes our minds about where that team is headed. If there's anybody to fix Russell Wilson, I think it is Sean Payton. They did what they had to do to get him in the building.
Okay, so anybody that says, "Oh, you changed your tune on Sean Payton," I want to read you a tweet that came out and somehow I missed it.
Okay,
it's from Ian Rappaport. The Broncos spent today trying to hire Demeco Ryans again before he recommitted to the Texans. When he agreed to terms with the Texans, they moved on and finalized Sean Payton. Is that not weird? Is that not I don't know. I think I'm sounding this out again going, man, this is a really clueless franchise. In 2 weeks, they zeroed in on Demeco Ryans the first time. Had to wait till he got knocked out of the playoffs. Then they tried to lure Jim Harbaugh twice. Negotiated a Sean Payton deal. So apparently this deal has been done for compensation-wise. Everything I've heard is that they basically gave New Orleans 2 options. You can have a 1 next year and a 3 this year. Or you can have our 1 this year and our 2 next year. That should tell you everything you need to know about the depth of this draft class, which is not great. They then tried to hire Demeco again and circle back to Sean Payton.
Yep.
They were not as sold on this Sean Payton thing until it was, we don't have another choice. This is what we have to do. And I guarantee it's because they didn't want to give up the draft capital.
Yeah, and
it is
to me that's the only reason. Like, you're 100% on Sean Payton. From the very beginning, that's what we were told, was that the Denver Broncos are all in on Sean Payton. They want Sean Payton. Okay, well, you brought him in for an interview. There were some reports that it didn't go well, and Sean Payton has debunked that, saying that he had some kind of a run-in or words with somebody in the front office during his interview.
He had a problem with the potential power struggle with the front office. And that was interpreted of, he doesn't love that he's being paired with George Payton. This is not his guy.
Right, but then Sean came out and said, no, that's not true. None of that is true. They're a great franchise. Love the front office. Everything's going to be fine. I don't look at that this way. I think their number one was Sean Payton. They brought him in for an interview, and then it came back to them either through Sean or through his agent that, maybe not. Maybe he'll go back to TV. So they had to move on. They had to find another option.
Basically, what Ian Rappaport is saying here is that Demeco Ryans was their number one choice.
Because he's cheaper.
It's
not going to cost you draft capital. It's not going to cost you $25 million a year.
No, but if you think Sean Payton is the guy to lead you to a Super Bowl, you'll give it up. So it's just what it is. I feel like Demeco. What that tells you is Demeco Ryans chose the Houston Texans over the Denver Broncos. That's an interesting layer of this to me. And, I mean, you can go down the rabbit hole of a bunch of different ways of, all right, Demeco Ryans looking at going, I'm a defensive guy. I'm going to have to trust the offense to somebody else who will have to fix Russell Wilson. And I would rather pick my own guy in Houston than be saddled with Russell Wilson. Meanwhile, Sean Payton went, this is the only team that I can win with. I'm already 60 years old.
Exactly. It was a perfect scenario for Sean. It's not a perfect scenario for Demeco. Why would you choose the Houston Texans? Here's my main question. Am I going to get 6 years of leeway with the Denver Broncos? No.
I traded a 1 and a 2 for you. Sean Payton's the safest coach in
If
NFL
you're
history.
Demeco Ryans.
Oh.
If you're Demeco Ryans, are you getting 6 years? No. You're getting 2 at best. If you come in and take this job and next year is completely horrible, they might give you another year. Might. However, I can sign the Dan Campbell deal down in Houston, get 6 years to turn this thing around how I want to, instill my culture, and I've got, I feel like that was a no-brainer. My first head coaching job, I don't want it to be hinged on the success of it being hinged on anybody other than me. And you'd immediately been in a expected to win now spot with Denver. Sean Payton can live up to that. Demeco Ryans, hell of a coach, and I bet he's going to be a great head coach.
I do too.
But that's not the spot. That's not the first job that you want. That's just my thought. I don't feel like this is this is just the second option. No, Sean Payton was option number 1. They wanted to go the cheaper route.
And then they looked at Demeco Ryans and went, this is an equivalent coach to us that we don't have to give up a 1 and a 2 for.
Absolutely. And then when he said, no, I'm going to Houston, they went, okay, well, we got to go back to Sean. And you know what? Maybe
it's just a bad look.
Yeah.
It's a bad look.
And maybe the talk with Sean was, we'll give you $17 million a year. And he wasn't cool with that. And then after Demeco said no, they went, okay, it's 25. We'll give you 25, whatever you want to come.
Because I guess that's the question I'm looking at now, especially seeing this tweeted this way from Ian Rappaport. What has Sean Payton said now? Where are you going now?
Jim Harbaugh. And then we'll offer him $20 million. And it'd be a disaster.
It's been an interesting day.
But now Sean Payton comes in to save the Denver Broncos. Can he do it? And can he lead them to a Super Bowl? Next 5 years, best teams to win, or the teams with the best chance to win a Super Bowl. That's the day's subject of the daily draft. I started with the Kansas City Chiefs because you can't deny the track record that they've had over the last 5 years.
They would not have been my 1, just to be clear.
Then Jeremy goes to Cincinnati.
They were my 1.
Obviously a great choice. Then the Los Angeles Chargers.
They were my 2.
And then I went with the Buffalo Bills at 2.
They were not in my top 10.
Which is dumb. But
look how many teams they got to get through. Every one of them drafts better than them.
Yeah, but they're but still immediately they're better than half of them.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Buffalo to me feels like the Miami Dolphins of the 90s. I know I've got a prodigious quarterback. I am not sure what you're going to put around him because it seems like every time you try to help him, you actually make it worse. You invested in the offensive line, it got worse. You invested in the running back. All of a sudden, you couldn't run the ball at all, which you hadn't really been able to do outside of Josh Allen in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
You invest in the secondary. Secondary got worse. That's a bad sign to me.
My third pick in the day's daily draft, it's the San Francisco 49ers. This team is loaded. They are loaded. And here's the thing. I have to ask myself what's going to change over the next 3-4 years. What's going to change with this team? Not much roster-wise. They've got all the major pieces locked up, save for Nick Bosa. And obviously you're going to have to pay him huge money.
That'll be done in very short order.
It's not even a question. Like, are we going to yes. Nick Bosa's coming up. No, he's not. We're going to take care of that. This team is set up. And they're going to have the best shot of anybody in the NFC to win a title. In my opinion.
I really wish you hadn't done that. Because that's the one I wanted.
Yes.
And now I have to take the one that I don't want. I'm literally trying to think, is there any other team that – and there's not.
And there's not.
It's the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep.
I don't want to do it.
That's the one I was going to take, and then I went, no.
That's what I wanted you to do.
I didn't even think Jeremy was going to take Philadelphia, so I was like, I'll get them later.
That's what I wanted you to do, is take Philadelphia so I could take San Francisco.
Yeah, no.
But, I mean, to me, that's the right 6 teams.
I even wrote down Philadelphia and scratched it out during the break to change it to San Francisco so that Jeremy couldn't get them. Because I thought about it. I mean, it is going to be hard. It is going to be hard for Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts. You got to make the decision on whether or not to pay him or not.
But you got another year before that kicks in, and 2 words, starts with an H, and ends in Howie Roseman.
Yeah. I mean, but that's...
You're going to notice there's a very big commonality of the teams I'm going to take here. The GM or whoever's making the decisions, pretty good.
He's a banger. Yeah.
Pretty good. Do you have another NFC team on your list?
I don't.
I have one, and I don't see how I can take them. I want to, but I cannot figure out how to do it. It's not the one you think it is, either.
Now I want to know.
I'll give you a hint. They wear blue.
Oh, God. I was going to ask you if they wear blue because I feel like I know what you're talking about, and I feel like that's the moment the world explodes. If we're talking about
they don't
the
have a star on their helmet, if that's the one you're going
No,
with.
it's not.
Yeah.
They have a kitty cat on their helmet.
Yeah, they have a kitty cat on their helmet. And
I knew you wanted to do it.
I'm not going to do it right here. I'm not doing it right here. I can't tell you I'm not going to do it coming up because I'm looking at the NFC going, good Lord, the NFC is awful.
Right. Who's left? Who is left?
There's only one team that I'm looking at going, you're ascending at a very high rate. But I'm not doing that yet.
Okay.
I can't, and I'll be honest with you, I almost think that the one I'm going to say is equally dumbfounding. Because they have a kitty cat on their helmet, too, that has a green tongue.
Oh.
And their name is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay. You've got the quarterback figured out. You got the head coach that's been there before. You got a very young, talented defense. There's a lot, and not to mention the receivers that, well, we made fun of paying Christian Kirk big number 1 money, and he kind of earned it this year.
And if you really like the behind baseball, behind closed doors contract numbers, Jacksonville is doing – so we railed on them for overspending last year. They can get out of virtually any deal they've signed comfortably within a year. They draft reasonably well. You've got the coach. You've got the quarterback. How many teams in the NFL, be really honest with yourself, can you say, I know definitively I have the coach for the next 5 years and I have the quarterback? Because I'll be honest with you, there's 3 teams that we've already drafted that I cannot say that about.
Yeah.
I can't say it about Kansas City.
Nope.
I can't say it about the Chargers. And I can't say it about the Buffalo Bills because I'm not sure Sean McDermott's the guy.
I don't think he is. I really don't.
There are just not a lot of teams that fall into that.
That's not a bad pick by you. Good job. Good job. Jacksonville Jaguars. That might be another scenario where the world would explode if the Jacksonville Jaguars actually do win a Super Bowl. But
I mean, tens and tens of people will be very excited. Although that bandwagon's probably going to get really wide.
Oh, you guarantee it. You can guarantee it. There will be more Jacksonville Jaguars fans than you ever thought were living.
God, there will be mullets and jorts and peepers everywhere. Let's
100%.
go.
All right, so you left me
It'll be like a whole stadium full of me and Brian Haynes.
I got 2 picks left, and
I am so interested to see where you go from here.
I mean, it's tough.
Because I only have 2 teams written down over here. So
yeah. Well, if one of them's your team, you're SOL.
Yeah!
I was gonna warn you before the Jacksonville pick. Like, you should do it.
I couldn't have taken it.
Or I'm going to. But yeah, I mean, the New York Jets. The New York Jets have to be on the list. I know they don't have a quarterback.
No, but they're about to.
But damn it, you've got the coach. You've got the coach. You've got all the weapons. You've got the young talent. You're going to have both rookies of the year this year, or could, anyway.
Will.
I don't know that to be true.
I do.
It's possible. It's possible. You have like the number 1 and number 2 options for rookies of the year had Breece Hall not gotten hurt.
Yeah, we could have had 3 of the 6 nominees.
And if you go all in and go get Aaron Rodgers, this is a pretty much a done deal for me. For everybody else in this division,
I've laughed at all the people that have told me, "Oh, why would you go after Aaron Rodgers?" Oh, I don't know, because he's one of the 5 greatest quarterbacks that ever lived.
Absolutely.
And he's not washed.
And he's not going to win a title in Green Bay.
Nope.
It's just not going to happen. And he knows it.
So the reason, first of all, the 4 I took were clearly ahead of that Jet roster to me anyway. I was afraid if I took the Jets, that I would be called a homer.
Of course you would have. So I did you a favor. You're
I hope
welcome.
you're about to do me another one.
I'm going to take the Denver Broncos.
Oh.
What?
Well, you didn't do me a favor because I wasn't taking that one.
Oh, okay. He wasn't taking that one. Anyway, Denver Broncos, to me, I mean, now that you go out and get Sean Payton,
you're going to have
he's the one to fix it.
I don't disagree with that in any way. I think Sean Payton's a good hire. He's a very expensive hire, and you are hemorrhaged draft capital-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And so walk me through this. The path, if you don't have the elite quarterback, we just talked about this yesterday, you have to be able to draft well.
Mm-hmm.
I've gutted the cupboard draft capital-wise for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you're supposed to. I don't know how you're supposed to come back from that. I'm not telling you can't be competitive. I think this is a not a no doubt playoff team, but I would say they're probably a playoff team over the next 2-3 years. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to go into the playoffs with Russell Wilson and beat Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, maybe Aaron Rodgers, maybe Tom Brady. Who knows? Lamar Jackson, I didn't even mention him. You got 2 rookies that very easily could end up in the AFC. That's just a gauntlet, and I'm not sure that I wouldn't take every quarterback I just said ahead of Russell Wilson, even with Sean Payton.
Sure. Man-to-man, absolutely. The thing is, games aren't won man-to-man. I don't have my quarterback going up against your quarterback on the field to decide who wins it all.
I get it. And he's got a defense that's better than a lot of those.
Right.
There are a lot of those guys that have good defenses too.
Sure there are. But like I said, Sean Payton has a hell of a track record in this league for winning, getting into the playoffs. Maybe he doesn't have the best playoff track record, as all those years he only made it to one Super Bowl or only won one Super Bowl. Well, you know what? It's better than most coaches have done. And I still feel there's a lot of gas left in the tank for Russell Wilson. I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater here just because of one bad year.
You're going to make me do it.
Uh-huh.
It's the Detroit Lions. It's the Detroit Lions.
Wow.
Doesn't that sound weird? Doesn't that come out of your mouth and you just go, holy. So we drafted the 10 most likely teams to win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years, and we had the Jets and the Lions and the Jaguars. And you know what's funny? I don't know how you can tell me I'm wrong. The NFC sucks. The third best team as of right now going into next year, and just wait till this comes out of my mouth, is the LA Rams. That's the third best roster in the NFC next year. And you can't tell me I'm wrong. And I'm looking at Detroit going, you got a boatload of money. You got a coach that a lot of people like. And, well, you're drafting pretty well. Do I think Jared Goff's going to be the guy to lead you there? No, but I'll be honest with you. He led a roster that you're starting to look a lot like.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the high-level guys yet, but Aiden Hutchinson could be.
Yep.
That line's pretty good. I mean, I can't believe that's 10, but it's my 10, and I couldn't even find another one.
Not from the NFC.
I considered saying Baltimore because it's such a smart franchise, but then I'm looking at, you're tied to Lamar Jackson for copious amounts of money, and what happens if he gets hurt again? Oh. And then you go, Pro Bowler Snoop Hundley. And I'm supposed to beat Pat Mahomes with that? I'm going to say no.
That's also one of those questions about the front office and the power structure there in Baltimore. I'm not really sure that that's all copacetic. I'm not sure that stays. I mean, we've already heard rumblings and grumblings about John Harbaugh, and is he going to hang around? Is he there for the long haul? Or are they going to split up after 9 years or whatever? I mean, that's a real thing. Lamar Jackson comes back and they don't win anything. They could just, hey, let's start over.
Before we go to break, we have a new button. It's for new members of the House of Reprehensibles.
There's no laws in this place. Anything goes. It's Thunderdome.
Matt, welcome in to the House of Reprehensibles, and he's a Broncos fan.
Okay.
He said, I love seeing all the positivity for my team, but I'm telling you right now, if the Broncos go 5-11, I'm checking myself into therapy. Yeah. That's exactly how I feel about the Jets. It's exactly how I feel about Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
If you're telling me right now that come September I'm going to have to get excited about Jimmy freaking Garoppolo, You think I drink a lot now? You ain't seen nothing yet.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. The AFC is a gauntlet, and even more than it was coming into today, with Sean Payton taking the Denver Broncos job. We'll have more up next.
This is your Exogen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Rain works in from the west tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday. Heaviest rain Thursday, and then some cold numbers appear Friday night and into the weekend with low temps down in the 20s and high temps in the 30s and 40s. Rain for tonight, 39 degrees. Quarter-inch rains Wednesday, Thursday. High temps in the 40s, lows near 40 degrees Wednesday night, and then colder numbers by Friday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time-saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road. Traffic is stop and go. Smoky Park Highway, no problems. Patton Avenue incident-free. New Leicester Highway, no backups. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road, no delays. Check the drive time from Black Mountain to Old Fort via 40 eastbound. Drive time 12 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. Need bucks? With Jackson Hewitt, don't wait weeks for the IRS to send your tax refund. Come in today for up to $3,500 with a no-interest, no-fee refund advance loan when you file your taxes at Jackson Hewitt. For eligible clients, loans by Republic Bank and Trust Company. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
iHeartRadio and Nickelback want you to join them for a show. What show? You pick it. Yeah. We'd be turning up the stereo. We'll fly you to the city of your choice, take care of the hotel, get you 2 premium tickets to the show, plus the High Times VIP Lounge package, which gets you into the exclusive pre-show lounge with lots of goodies. For a chance to win, just open the free iHeartRadio app and listen to Nickelback Radio, and you'll be automatically entered. Look at this photograph. Get ticket info for Nickelback at LiveNation.com. Nickelback in the city of your choice, only from iHeartRadio.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. We'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville, or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace. Welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. My head is so congested I can't even hear myself in my headphones. I was like, are they working? Or is my microphone on?
You do sound very much like you're holding your nose.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that on purpose by any stretch of the imagination. I'm all loaded up on the Sudafed and the Dayquil and making my way through it, and it'll be sleepy time.
Just don't do the same thing I did. Don't think you're taking something, taking a throat lozenge and take 2 NyQuil and then go to a bar. You'll smell sounds and taste colors. I promise you.
Yeah.
I've seen me do it.
No, sir.
Didn't mean to. Total accident, but Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite comedians is Nate Bargatze. And on one of his stand-up specials, he was telling a joke about how things change as you get older. Like when you're in your 20s, your friends will call you up and they'll say, hey, let's go somewhere. And you're like, yeah, let's go. I don't even know where we're going, but let's go. When you get into your 30s, you're like, maybe. Is there going to be food? Okay, maybe I'll go.
Do I have to put on pants?
Right.
I don't want to put on pants.
Once you hit 40, I'm not going. And frankly, I'm ticked off that you asked me to go. Like,
yeah,
like
see,
that's
kind
of where I'm getting.
Me.
I just turned 40, and I'm starting to feel like, you know what? There's kind of some truth to that. So no chances of me going anywhere if I don't feel good.
Yeah, see, that's not me.
Except to be here with you guys because I love you guys.
And if you wonder why he's here, it's because no one else could do it.
That's actually also true.
We can actually say we are two people that there is no one else that can do our jobs.
Indeed.
Our greatest ability is our availability.
This is definitely a day where, had there been another option, you'd have seen it.
If he could have trained a bird to push those buttons, he'd have done it. And he'd have sent that bird in here, and I'd have needed a new pair of pants.
100%, but I'm a soldier, and I'm here. And we've got just, another 15 minutes of the program left here. It has been a phenomenal day as we started the day talking about should they or shouldn't they hire Sean Payton in Denver.
And then they did. And now it's let's embrace the change. Because I don't think it's a bad deal. I didn't think it was a bad deal that they were going after him. I don't think it's a bad deal that they hired him. I know you had to give up the draft capital to get him, and you're already behind the 8 ball in that category anyway. But at some point, does it not become – and I've been thinking about this with the Kansas City Chiefs too, of looking to the future for these teams. Like, obviously, Kansas City's having to pay up for all their guys. And how do you get players to come for cheaper than other teams could get them? At what point does did players start looking at Kansas City as, well, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom? I just want to go win a title. I just want to go play with Patrick. Are the Denver Broncos going to be in that same position where players are going to go, say he turns it around. Say he makes Russell Wilson into I was going to say borderline Pro Bowler. He should have been a Pro Bowler this year definitely over Tyler Huntley. I think I should have been a Pro Bowler over Tyler Huntley.
I'm going to agree with that. But, I mean, at what point do players look at Denver and go, yeah, I want to go play for Sean Payton?
Well, I mean, there's definitely an element of that. He's always been said to be a pretty good player's coach. He will get the most out of Russell Wilson. I don't know what that is. That's one of the things that scares me. And, all the positive of Sean Payton, I would be remiss if I didn't point out. This could also be compounding a horribly bad mistake.
Sure. You always run that risk.
You could now be out of 2 top 45 picks. You had already traded a handful of those as it was. And you could end up with still a mediocre – because that's my fear here. All right, what happens when – and I haven't seen Denver's schedule, so I can't even hypothesize on that. It's way too early to do that anyway. But let's say Sean Payton comes in here and they go 7-10. What now?
Lather up and do it again.
B. Malik said, "Did you just say Russ should have been a Pro Bowler this year? Surely to God, that's not what you. I mean, you're not on that much cold medicine."
Over Tyler Huntley?
Secret time, I would have taken Tyler Huntley over Russell Wilson.
Yeah, you're insane.
Yeah, I don't think I am. Russell Wilson was awful. I genuinely, God, I would have taken Zach Wilson before I would have taken Russell Wilson as a Pro Bowler. If he had made it to the Pro Bowl, they should have just said, you know what, we lied, we quit. We're not doing this game anymore because he was that bad.
He was not that bad.
He was awful. QBR, how many quarterbacks in the NFL were worse than Russell Wilson?
No clue.
I think it was 3. I'd have to check the stat to see if anything changed in the last week, or in the last week of the season.
Mm-hmm.
He was god awful.
Okay. I mean, if you think Tyler Huntley's better, then you're an idiot, but okay.
This year?
Yeah. The guy played 4 games.
I don't care. Russell Wilson was awful. I mean, genuinely, I'm pulling the stat right now. Russell Wilson's QBR was a 36.9.
Okay.
50 is league average. The only 3 in the NFL that were worse were Davis Mills, Carson Wentz, and Baker Mayfield. And the funny thing is Aaron Rodgers was only a few points better. Matt Ryan was better than Russell Wilson this year. That's how bad what you're walking into is. And you're going to have to do a lot just to get into league average. That's how just genuinely terrible he was. And so I guess that would be my fear if I'm a Bronco fan. What if, all right, let's say Sean Payton works his magic and he gets him to Jimmy Garoppolo territory. What exactly does that look like? All right, so you're a league average quarterback that we're paying copious amounts of money to when we have no draft capital.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean I'm going 10-7? Because I don't think it does. The way I set it up certainly does not sound that way. So that would be my reservation.
Mm-hmm.
Is he's got his work cut out for him. I mean, I'll give Sean Payton credit. He easily could have just sat back and said, you know what, I'll go back to Fox for a year. It's a great deal for me. I'll come back in a year with whether it's the Chargers or the Cowboys or one of these jobs or the Jets, one of these jobs that opens next year if these teams crash into the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
He is taking a challenge here. I could argue this is one of the 3 hardest jobs in the NFL right now.
But also, I feel like for Sean Payton, this might have been the best option. I mean, I could hold on next year for the Chargers job. That's it.
Or the Cowboys or the Jets.
Yeah, I don't think I'm holding on for the Cowboys job. I think Sean Payton sat back and thought about it like, okay,
you have a much clearer path.
That's been the dream job, right? It's always kind of been in his mind, I guess, of, the star on the helmet, the hierarchy of the NFL. Like, I want to lead that franchise. But I also, and maybe this is just my personal biases, but I'm looking at it going, if I was Sean Payton, I wouldn't want the Dallas Cowboys job. I don't care what you have on your roster.
Well, you have a clear path to success. In Denver, you're taking on an absolute reclamation project.
Mm-hmm. But I also have control.
Tay in our YouTube comments said Tyler Huntley threw 2 touchdowns. You're the insane one. Yeah, and one of them had no receivers. The other had Jerry Jeudy, Greg Dulcich, who was a really good tight end, Cortland Sutton, Javonte Williams, and played the entire season. And I could argue, I could have put any quarterback in the league in that spot, and they'd have won 3 more games. That's how bad Russell Wilson was. Now, the hope is that's Nathaniel Hackett. That Nathaniel Hackett was just genuinely that bad. By the way, I'm not arguing that either of those guys are Pro Bowlers.
Okay,
I need to. The fact that we even discussed that is kind of comical to me.
Well, I'm just saying he's better.
Not this year. He wasn't. He was awful. I think it's funny that 3 weeks removed from this, you're forgetting how bad he actually was. In the same show, you crushed Davis Mills and are defending Russell Wilson. They were the exact same guy.
You're forgetting the premise of this is over Tyler Huntley.
In terms of the play on the field, I would have taken what you got from Tyler Huntley this year in 4 games. That's how bad Russell Wilson was. I genuinely think if they could have given him wrong directions to the stadiums, they would have done it. That's how awful he was. And he alienated the locker room. There's a ton of negative with Russell Wilson, and I guess that's what I'm trying to say about Sean Payton. This is a project. This is not making a derby car. This is building a car from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
You got the pieces, but you don't have any instructions. Tay said Andy Dalton was better than both of them. Accurate. That is 100% accurate.
I could agree with that.
And Andy Dalton made $8.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
No accidents or stalls in the roadways. Interstates are moving problem-free. On the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, traffic volume is busy. Smoky Park Highway, no delays. Patton Avenue moving well, and New Leicester Highway problem-free. Biltmore Avenue, no delays. Merriman Avenue, no backups. And the Charlotte Highway, no issues. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road, some delays. Hendersonville Road moving well. Checking the drive time from Asheville to Woodfin via Broadway Street, drive time 9 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. Need bucks? With Jackson Hewitt, don't wait weeks for the IRS to send your tax refund. Come in today for up to $3,500 with a no-interest, no-fee refund advance loan when you file your taxes at Jackson Hewitt. For eligible clients, loans by Republic Bank and Trust Company. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Two NBA insiders podcasting twice a week to plug you right into the NBA grapevine.
All happening in only one place. This League Uncut. The new NBA podcast with me, Chris Haynes.
And me, Mark Stein.
Join us as we team up to expound on everything we're covering, hearing, and chasing.
Listen to This League Uncut with Chris Haynes and Mark Stein
on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's the final days to save big store-wide at the Truckload event at Lowe's. Right now, get limited-time deals on your favorite tools and accessories. Plus, get 10% off in-stock kitchen cabinets with a $1,000 minimum purchase. And save even more on clearance cabinets in-store. Hurry and shop the Truckload event in-store or online while you can. Must ask cashier to apply discount at time of purchase. Exclusions apply while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details. Valid 1/26 through 2/8.
I think it's just vapor.
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
All right, final minute of the program here on ESPN Asheville, inside the Ingles Studio. Yes, Tyler Huntley's making a Pro Bowl.
That's something I learned today.
It's gross.
I learned that apparently to be a Pro Bowl quarterback, you have to be a quarterback and alive.
Demeco Ryan's getting 6 years to turn around the Houston Texans.
Oh, and you know what? In that Sean Payton deal with him signing with the Denver Broncos, that means we had a first-round pick traded.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that means?
No, mock draft.
It's time for another mock draft.
Yeah! The post-Sean Payton trade mock draft.
100%. That sounds like something that could just totally happen, I don't know, tomorrow.
Yeah. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
Do you want to build a mock draft? Come on, let's go and play.
Oh, it's the latest banger of the Draftmas season. We still have to get the Draftmas carols.
Oh, no doubt. I've already written. That's done. Now I just need somewhere to record them.
Oh, well, we could do that right here in the Ingles Studio. We'll have all of the things for you coming up tomorrow here on ESPN Asheville. We'll see you at 3 o'clock.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Rain works in from the west tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday. Heaviest rain Thursday, and then some cold numbers appear Friday night and into the weekend with low temps down in the 20s and high temps in the 30s and 40s. Rain for tonight, 39 degrees. Quarter-inch rains Wednesday, Thursday. High temps in the 40s, lows near 40 degrees Wednesday night, and then colder numbers by Friday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your Time Saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
No accidents or stalls in the roadways. Interstates are moving problem-free. On the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, traffic volume is busy. Smoky Park Highway, no delays. Patton Avenue moving well, and New Leicester Highway problem-free. Biltmore Avenue, no delays. Merriman Avenue, no backups. And the Charlotte Highway, no issues. Sweeten Creek Road southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road, some delays. Hendersonville Road moving well. Checking the drive time from Asheville to Woodfin via Broadway Street, drive time 9 minutes. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. Everyone knows that time is money. Go to Jackson Hewitt today for up to $3,500 with a no-interest, no-fee tax refund advance loan. That means money now instead of later. Go to Jackson Hewitt today. For eligible clients, loans by Republic Bank and Trust Company. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville,